Test, 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 test. We are just testing. Gotta see if this gonna get real best, cause we gotta do this. Ain't nothing less. I ain't nothing less. See if this gonna get real best, cause we gotta do this. Alright, is it on? Is it on? Okay. I see the PSy Tai Podcast. We live streaming. Welcome, welcome. Pop out the chat, get everything situated. Shouts to everybody that was there yesterday. Or 2 days ago now with the Becoming Human game. Saw what androids was about. And how they can possibly integrate to our society. And the pushback that will come up from that resulting factor of, hey, we're here. We're gonna play part 2 another time. Here. But for now, this is just tainow. Just think about it, place where we combine our mind with our heart, see what our gut mind is saying, connect all those 3 circles and let whatever come out come on out. Trust me, things be coming out. Let's put this right here. Love chat with it. There we go. Everything situated. Get a link to the Discord real quick. Bang bang. Keep that up right there. Let me just tab by itself over here. And we're leaving that there. Now 2:40 on a Sunday. Yo, check this out. Wild Man Ninja just posted this. Trying to see it. I'll probably go pull up his Instagram. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, how they just sneak that song into the playlist? Alright. Welcome to the Just tainow. Just tainow, the PSy Tai Podcast, the PSy Tai Podcast. We're here just to tie things together. It's been a long while since I've been able to go live. Long while. But we're here now. So if you want to join the Discord or jump in the chat and just tie alongside, that means like if you got something you want to say, tag along, ideas, fresh ones, old ones, recycled ones. We here to remix it. And just to have an honest, open conversation as opposed to conversations where like certain centers are purposely closed up. Still happens from time to time. But when you got the thought on your mind, that's when you bring out all the surprises. Start surprising yourself at times. This thing, podcasting, is a whole new field that's been going on for 10 years. But what's 10 years in the span of whole of human history? Like we had the streets out, we had the streets in the corners where people, or they had the campfire settings where people go out in the fire at nighttime, or in other civilizations they had the town square and stuff like that. But now, like, they say the Times Square is Twitter and stuff, but but ain't no real conversations on Twitter. It's like people just running around screaming and stuff. But as opposed to as it comes to podcasting, it's this opportunity to actually see where an idea travels to. An idea as in the person that's producing it. And anything can happen. It allows for the time instead of like, and it's cool for these days and it like fits right with the days and times that we're in now, where a lot of people are feeling as though we need to have the time to speak about what we're feeling, like the human species as a whole. Like, check out just what was that? I think that was from the 60s. Let me see if I can look. The reminder to hug your children. That was like a public reminder back in the past. Here it is right here. Just thinking about the human scope and how we're evolving. Or like where we're moving to. Who knows? All we can do is look at where we are. So where are we now? Where are we now? Oh, wrong screen. Oh, this is the right one. I just have to shrink it. Shrink it some more. Writer, producer, director. Let's go. But look, Mama, this was an old thing.
Can't you see that I'm on the phone? Hold it down, I just got home. Isn't it enough?
He had his hand ready. They like, I'm busy.
Shut up, kids, you're in the way. I'm so mad I can slap your face.
Did I do something wrong?
Slap your face? Did I do something wrong?
Did you send him off?
They'd be like, yeah, you bothered me. You know exactly what you did.
Love, love, love. She's a person just like you.
She's a person just like you. She got feelings too, so give her love.
Did you hug him for a while? It'll leave you with a smile. You'll know it's love, 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 love.
This message is brought to you by this station and the Kentucky Department for Human Resources in the interest of our children. By the way,
Have you hugged your kid today?
Have you? Have you? Oh, I found that interesting because, like, think about where we always had to like survive, especially during the Great Depression and stuff, where everybody went broke and everybody was like working in factories and not knowing where the economy was going. So people was like stripped right into survival mode. So they ain't had time. You know how it is when you survive, you don't got time. Or you feel as though you don't got time when you surviving for anything else. For anything else but if it's trying to stop the goal, then it's not for the soul. People be like, man, get that out the way. Not today. When really that today, if it popped up, what would happen if you had the time to actually deal with it? We've seen it happening more and more today's time. It used to just be left to the rich. Left to the rich, or if you like gave up everything and like ran into the woods and the forest for years and and like monk life and stuff like that. That was like the only way. But now we got different ways. And it's like, I think it's becoming more in our base nature, off of our. Cause what is base nature anyway? Like, we come into this world just learning, like, whoa, so to speak. I'm thinking about base nature and growing. Hold on one second. This thing popped up. Base nature and knowing like how to what to actually communicate, and if some things are actually worth communicating, and how we work as the billions of people in on this earth. How do we communicate with each other? How are we going to evolve into the next, or how are we going to move into the next chapter of our book, of our evolution, so to speak? And I see it more and more popping up, having the time to think about what we're thinking about. And the internet and stuff it allows more time for that. Podcasting is what I was talking about, and I was saying in the Industrial Revolution in the past, how they didn't have time to do things, to sit with their kids, or when the time was to sit with their kids, they didn't make the time for it because it wasn't like that. It just wasn't in the culture. It probably was a few select. You see, when did that thing come out? because it seemed like it had some hippie music in it. So it had to be like after the 60s, 70s. This is the 70s. So this was after like the American so-called culture started like getting into the psychedelics, started protesting more against just signing up for the government and for wars and everything. And many other factions in education that's still seeing as trails into today's time. Nothing came out of nowhere. I mean, all this stuff didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, it's that. So they probably opened up, saw something, connected to some feelings, and then was like, "Hey, man, like we gotta pay attention to these kids. Like they are future. They actually not just like animals we raise to go and work a job, but also they still have to do that. You know, the twists and turns and doing it in your own way." But still being able to sustain yourself, at least, I would throw in there. I had another article that just popped in my head. Let me see if I can get it real quick. It was talking about moms in San Diego. Here it is. That ties right into this. Oh, where can that tab be? It's like microdosing mushrooms, a growing trend among San Diego moms. More people than you possibly imagine have an in-the-closet relationship with mushrooms, said California mom. San Diego recent studies have shown psychedelic mushrooms can treat or even cure depression. Now, more and more moms are coming forward admitting to taking the illegal drug in small doses. It's called microdosing. And according to one North County mom who does it, it's growing in popularity in San Diego. I believe it's criminalized down there. Talking about illegal. They decriminalized in San Diego. Makilia, who asked that we not use her last name. I was about to say her real name. Knows she's doing is illegal, but she feels strongly about the benefits of microdosing mushrooms and wanted to share her story. It's so necessary for some of us to be out and forward because we need to move the needle. We need to help give permission to other mothers, to fathers, and other families, said Maikila. Microdosing involves taking each take a little small dose, gummies, pills, chocolate. And she said, this her words, so a dose that gives you a classic psychedelic effect will be anywhere between a gram to 5, 6, 7 grams, and a microdose. And so a microdose is a fraction of a gram, explained Maikila. Maikila started microdosing about 3 years ago when she was pregnant with her 2.5-year-old son, Martin. And that's cool that she put that in there. And it say now, about 3 years ago, now she was a healthy son's still out. I remember reading reports when people was talking about smoking marijuana, like not tobacco really, but like just cannabis while pregnant. And I was looking into studies. It was an old podcast, and I brought up some that was found in Jamaica, and they was talking about some studies in Jamaica where people were able to. Where people were smoking and they had healthy babies, healthy birth weight, no low birth weight, like people who smoke cigarettes, more guaranteed to have a low birth weight and stuff like that. And the kids came out fine. According to the study standards, at least. Oh, wait, hold on. I see some. Hey, Memphis Freestyle. What's going on? Salute. King, tie it on down. Don't play with it. Hey, I'm in it, King. Hey, Master Creator. All right, let's open that tab back up right here. Yeah, so she's a mom hanging out in San Diego, and she's saying like, it's worth it. Like, it's not me saying this, is her right here. Because I was bringing up before that, have you hugged your kid today? People in the 70s was tripping. And I grew up, I didn't get beat because I didn't like really do stuff to like deserve a whooping and stuff like that. But it would have came if necessary. It came to my cousins and everything. Came to my first cousins I grew up with. But that was the discipline of the times. Whip, because we don't got the time. We don't got the time to be going into all these emotions and feelings. We'll deal with that later. You should have already knew better. But psychedelics, they open me up to a place where it's like, Oh, I thought I knew everything. I really did. Why is the chat not popping up on here? I'm gonna delete it and bring it back in. Bang, bang. And then we go to browser. Right here. There we go. I think I've been doing this for a while. Just bring that up. But yeah. I'll give you like, oh, what do I know? How can I act on this situation off these emotions I'm feeling? Not just off the strategies that I use to get from point A to point B to point B to point C, or what somebody else told me. What you learned from mom, grandparent, auntie down the street. And they say it would take a village to raise a child. So it was everybody acting like that. And I used to say that if the neighbor whipped you, it was a favor for the mom or dad. So not against all forms of discipline though, because you never know what pop up. It ain't my child, it ain't my situation. But I'll dive into the situations I'm in and what this mom is talking about. Let's see some more. It say my kid started microdosing and a 2-year-old son. She was struggling with alcoholism. It says microdosing helped her stop. So she was an alcoholic. She is really like, I don't got the time. I've heard that mushrooms can combat addictive behavioral patterns, so I wanted to approach it head on. And that she did. I wonder if she started though with like a big dose first and then a microdose. Since she obviously knows what a classic psychedelic effect is, and then she like decided to microdose later. I think that's the case in my book. Hey, dear, why? Dear, why? Yeah. Following Martin's birth, Makila struggled even more, saying the anxiety and depression she's dealt with for years intensified. Now she microdoses on a regular basis. Well, I thought she started when she was pregnant. And then she said her depression, well, it ain't gonna take away your depression. It's still up to you, as I learned in my storybooks. It's still up to you to deal with the depression, the habits, the changing of the habits if you want to do so, seeing the habits in the first place as a habit and not just, oh, this is just what I do, and going back to the trauma and everything. Like, it takes time. It takes time for everybody. So she said she had addictive behavioral patterns. Yeah, like I'm saying, them patterns, addictive. Do something 3 times. And then you're like, oh, all right, that's fine. I got it now. Following Martin's birth, she struggled even more, saying she dealt with for years. So yeah, like I was saying, there's things that she was already dealing with for years and they just popped up. You know how they talk about a lot of women say they have postpartum depression or post-pregnancy depression? I think that's what it is. Whatever comes after you get pregnant, after you had the baby or while you pregnant, and you start getting depressed and stuff like that. It's like imagine all the neurochemistry going on. To allow the baby to be birthed and doing all that process. She probably was awakened to so much thoughts, realities, all that stuff. So the mushroom in her experience, Makila, helped her reconcile with this. And then like I want her to go deeper, but I doubt she's gonna. But let's see, because I just glanced over something. I said, what does it feel like? I asked. A glow, an underglow. It makes those emotions to connect with my son and toddler way more readily available, and it slows down my desire to react, and instead I respond to him, said Makila. Yeah, that's the flip. And then you come on like the teacher instead of just straight on like old school parent style. Like, I'm here to feed you. Make sure you go to school. Not put your hand in the socket. So you put your hand in the socket, you go. You know the deal. but not ask like, how do you feel about this cartoon you're watching? How do you feel about the foods you're eating? We do that sometimes. How you like it? Oh, you better on it. Like, you better like it. Your grandma made it. But that comes with it too, because you do gotta try new things. But hey, man, I was a picky eater myself. I used to have the plates separated. And I had to buy the plates where it was, you had to put the foods on each different sections of the plate so that it didn't touch, so the juices didn't run into each other. I was like that up until probably high school. Oh, I never clapped into the Discord. Oh, I'm in there now. I'm in the Discord. Anybody want to jump in? I thought I was in there the whole time. Okay, he said, according to, and then think about that relationship with the kid, with the infinite being that you have right in front of you, and being able to relate with that on a whole nother scale. Like I was talking about the evolution of where we are nowadays with even the ability to have podcasts. Like a podcast is something that anybody can do. Not just a news corporation, CBS, NBC. You're able to just go on. They would just go on and make the show that you have in your imagination. And a lot of people enjoy that, even the people that was on the shows, because now they seeing like their imagination, they channel imagination not being so convoluted with what the producers of NBC want on their show, and how they like people to be presented. Like everybody probably think, a lot of generations probably think that this is dressed up. That's it. Because it's on the news all the time. That's professional. That's it. Don't loosen your tie. Don't bring down that neck a little bit down. You know what I'm trying to say. Eating some green grapes. Feeling great. Okay. Oh, all right. Go back to the article. See if I finished it. All right. She said, yeah, I'm not unique. It's a lot of people doing here. Moms, all walks of life doing the same. What's leading people to want to dose is wanting to be more present in their life, and I think that redefines what we think about as a drug user. Redefine or go back and find what was already there. The medicine man, the shaman, the prophets, the holy man. When the native indigenous tribes used to send the people off the kids off when they was 13 into the woods, give them some peyote and other substances that we probably don't know about. A drug, that's a recent. I actually see that when the word drug was invented, like drug. It pops up. Oh, it's not that old of a word. Let me bring this down real quick. It says use over time, drug. It wasn't that much used in the 1800s. Then started really being used between the 1950s and 2019. So like right there in the middle. 1993. I'd have thought the 60s would have been the most, but no, it was still growing. And then all the paranoia. More and more paranoia. As you go up, more and more paranoia. No telling what they was taking back then. Remember they had in the medicines, we showed that before, the old medicines that the doctors would give. They had they still got codeine and stuff in it, but they had like heroin in it. Label heroin, not Adderall. Oh, she robbed me of my lighter. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Yeah, she already took it. I'm gonna get it back soon. But look, if you just check it out. Hello, hello, oh, you well? You well? Hey. I was just reading this article, just tying things together. I found about this lady talking about she microdosed mushrooms in San Diego. She's a mom going to her transformations, and now I was like talking about drugs. Like, I think that redefines what we think as a drug. What's leading people to want to dose is wanting to be more present in their life. I was like, redefine drug? No, we need to find what drug was in the beginning. Yeah, they was using all types of medicine plants, drugs back then, but they ain't really used, they called it so many different other things. So when did it actually pop up? Any substance used in a composition or preparation of medicines. Ooh. Entries linking to drug, a spice. Man, them spices was like drugs back then. They was traveling so far to get them spices. Earliest druggists recognized 4 types of spices: saffron, clove, cinnamon, and nutmeg. I heard about Malcolm X doing nutmeg in jail. I was gonna try that back in the day, but I never did. Hey, you well? You there in the Discord? Something added to food or drink. To mix with drugs make narcotic or poisonous, meaning dose in excess or yeah, we get it.
Hold on, I'm trying to turn up my volume for you. All right, say it again.
Test. Hey.
No, you're good. It was my phone went off speaker when I switched to your Discord.
Yeah, you keep saying it does that. That kind of bug.
Yeah, it's like some kind of Discord issue. It didn't do it before, but they always do them upgrades and then issue. Especially
They
with
come with
iPhone.
it.
Because
Hey,
each iPhone has a different operating system for iPhones. So they only care about probably the newest one.
no, that's been proven. They showed that they got sued because people with old iPhones, their phones were starting to move slower when they updated. How's your
What you been
day?
thinking about?
Oh, I'm
It's been
alright.
good here.
It's good there.
Yeah, there was a snake. So I found a lighter, taking it to the river, and the lighter has an alien on it. Yeah.
You said you found a lighter? It was breaking up. I think I got people in the background.
He was gonna get some more.
But yeah, I was just talking about mushrooms in this article that I found about this lady in San Diego saying moms are doing microdosing more and more.
Pregnant
And
moms?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be surprised.
And she was saying the main thing was getting connected. Oh, now I want to try to play. And how people doing it to actually like try to connect with their kids in the now instead of like reacting to them. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what the mushroom would do.
During parenting.
Mm-hmm. Because you'll see the emotions pop up. And then you'll see them there as the person instead of like just running around like, hey, get the dog out. And it's interesting where we're moving in now.
A lot of people forget that they were kids once too, or at least they don't forget, but they leave out the layer that they were kids once, and a lot of the stuff that they used to do, they're now trying to restrict. A lot of the stuff that they found fun in, they want to restrict that from everybody else.
Oh, those mean on adults. I was thinking about Kids Next Door. You ever see that cartoon?
No, I'm
Oh,
not sure. I'm not sure.
it was an old Cartoon Network one, but it goes with what you were saying because once they reach a certain age in the show, though, they actually got their memory wiped, and then they just became an adult and forgot everything from when they was a kid. But some
Yeah.
special
Yeah.
agents was able to remember.
Oh yeah, but that was like the whatchamacallit thing too. The magic and lock and key, and also
Oh yeah, good movie about show.
yeah. What else? They do that in something. Oh, remember whatchamacallit? In Peanuts, it started. Maybe not even started there, but in Peanuts, remember when the parents, anybody after they reach a certain age, they no longer speak the same language as the children. They start to speak that. It becomes like a gumble garble language to the kids.
And that's how kids look at you sometimes too. When you start talking like that. Huh? What is it? In the show they kind of understood it, but to the viewer they made it just straight.
Yeah, it's like a layer of not caring is there. It's like this is just gobbledygook. Yeah. What you reminded me of?
Of
Gog and
what?
Magog, right?
Gog and Magog? No.
Yeah, it's Gog and Magog are two beings or so they're gods of another people in the Bible, I think.
Mm-hmm. I
They're
just found
called
it.
demons or something like that, or devils. Gog and Magog, I think.
Gog and Magog. What's interesting about them?
Well, last night I was saying googly moogly. And that is Gog and Magog.
Great googly moogly.
Yeah, the great googly moogly. Yeah, it's Gog and Magog.
Oh wow. I would have never knew it was related to this.
Yeah, it's like just came to my mind. Great googly moogly. Is they're talking about this a being. The two beings. I think they're brothers or something. But yeah, googly moogly, Gog and Magog. But
That was before Jesus Christ.
yeah, the Bible's perspective, yeah, they're demons or whatever, devils.
The new program had to be downloaded.
Yeah, from that perspective though, everything always gets demonized. But then you guys got to kind of try to figure out what they're really talking about, and it's usually some type of force of nature that the other people were dealing with and could deal with it better than they could, and that means it was hated by them.
Because they had a little bit more knowledge, and that knowledge was probably to the other people like, oh, that's a little too much. Like that's that sinful
witchcraft.
stuff.
You going witchcraft now. You doing too much.
Still to this day.
Yep. But it's okay if they know how. But if it's beyond what their knowing is, they don't like it.
And that's
It
all
may be
right
an
now.
animal. Yeah, I think it comes from instincts, though. It comes from like old animal traits, where it's like when a monkey or another ape or any intelligent creature sees another one of its same kind doing some, new tactic, it wants to know if it can adapt into that tactic or remove that tactic out of existence.
Monkey see,
That
monkey
tactic is a
do.
threat sometimes. Yeah.
Or monkey see, monkey stop that shit. Right in his tracks.
They always need to add on to quotes. That's
Yeah, they never end the quote in realistic terms. Get you lost in some sauce. Have you thinking you the boss? And like, nah, there's more stores around. Other companies.
That's actually a good song right there. Monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey stop that shit.
No, we're gonna meme it. Somebody gotta meme it out there.
But it's like that one monkey with the machine gun. They had that chimpanzee with the machine gun, and he turns it on them.
I'm thinking of Planet of the Apes.
No, it was at all. It's a real thing too. Like they're all out there
Oh.
laughing, and like the soldiers are all out there laughing, and they hand him the gun. And I think first they hand him a cigarette, and then he takes the cigarette and he's smoking the cigarette, and then they hand him the gun. He takes the gun and he points it at him.
Wow. Now you would think something else would happen.
Yeah, but animals, especially apes and monkeys are pretty smart. Like
Yeah.
they'll move into like a town and start mimicking and copying people.
No, they got the sign language down, some of them. And the way those monkeys running around in India and all those other countries stealing food, and they adapting.
They say they actually have better memory. We just have better adaptability and progress, potential progressing. It's like we can figure out a new way to do something better than they can, but they can remember ways way longer. Like they were doing this short-term flash memory thing with them and long-term number memory, and they were for treats, because that's usually the best way. I've noticed with most creatures that get to a certain intelligence level, it's basically bliss is their main go-to.
It does get like that.
Yeah, you get up with the bliss.
When you don't know, you don't care. You're like, well, why would what's that different from this?
It's like ants. You can't get ants with like dopamine triggers and stuff like that. But a monkey in there, he'd be like, "Woo, yeah, give me some more of that. Give me some more of that." Mice too. Mice that they'll get.
Can you get any reptile? I'm trying to think.
Is it reptiles too? Some reptiles may. I have to look, but some reptiles may actually have that.
Because I would say a snake, but not really. Because they'll still go at you. I don't care how long you had it as a pet. I watched those shows, that church that had the snake. They had some accident happen one time.
Yeah. Yeah. You would think big animals would be they always say it's a wild animal that's gonna, but they usually are the ones that will remember you more. It's actually if you stay around them too long, I've noticed, and you do something that they decide is, excuse me, if you're like around them and they decide that you're whatchamacalliting, kind of like a threat to the pride, or they now need to take dominance because you're too old or whatever. That is usually, but if you are a person who used to know them and then you come back, they usually treat you with this like respect, like, "Hey, there he goes. Where'd you go? Hey." Lions, they will even do it, like, "Hey, I know that human."
You see that, like, it don't smell like the familiar food, like smell like something that was a good experience.
For some reason, well, they don't actually realize it, but I think a lot of animals recognize people's face, not just their scent. Just like how like you will kind of go, "Oh, you are Tommy. Yeah, you grew up, but yeah, you're Tommy, right?" I think animals can do that as well, and may actually be able to teach it to their relatives.
No, it had, yeah. I did watch a lot of documentaries and they be talking about the scents and stuff, but when it comes to the eyes, that's the part that we need to get to. Because they are looking at, the scientists probably just think they're not thinking. Like, oh, why would they think about this shape when they got all these other senses going on? But
Yeah, they're birds that hate and love people. Like they'll decide that they hate certain people and always attack them, and then their whole family group will target those people. And it's not just that they smell them; it's like they see those the same people and they mess. But it's only those people. Other people come out of their house, no problem. But then there are other birds that will love like a people who help them when they're little and like always be bringing them stuff generation on generation. People who be getting like rings, while everybody else is stolen jewelry.
I'm thinking of the movie The Crow.
Yeah, crows like to do that type of stuff.
It was this guy. When did this come out?
90s.
Yeah, bring it up here for everybody to see. Oh, they just trying to give me a buy it on Blu-ray. It was this guy that can control the crows and stuff. It was real cool. I saw the trailer to it. I never actually watched the movie, but it popped
In the
up like
movie
a month ago.
Yeah, he kind of was connected with him. It's not that he really control him. He was kind of was them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's another story.
You should watch it. It's a good movie. He kind
I'm
of
gonna check it out.
dies. The crows he becomes the crows to kind of do like a vengeance type thing. Pretty good stuff.
Hey, you know what was pretty good? I finally
It's Bruce
watched
Lee.
Bruce Lee in there.
No, Bruce Lee's son. He actually dies in that movie.
Oh, is
Which
his
is
name
strange.
Brandon Lee? It's on the cover.
Brandon Lee.
All right, so that means they got some good fighting in there. Some
Yeah,
good
it was all right.
choreography.
He was in one movie before that, I believe. But yeah,
Brandon
something
Lee.
about the gun was loaded with, same thing that just happened. But the gun went off and killed him. And I think that's why they made certain gun laws so that they couldn't have certain types of guns on the set.
Oh, yep, you're right. I just found this. They're talking about the prop gun. That's how he died. Damn. I thought this was a game, and then he woke up out of this reality. It's like, that was still a game. So...
Oh, yeah. You only play that movie role, up to that movie role. Yeah. And Brandon Lee. Did you like the character? That was pretty cool, right?
He actually did get shot.
See, you go through the emotional things of trying to live up to the father of Bruce Lee, and yeah, it's a pretty good story, right? You want to play again?
Like this time. Yeah, just change up one little thing. And that's what I finally watched Evangelion, and I finally figured out how to say it too. And I watched the third one, and it was amazing. Did you get to peep that one out?
Oh, all of them with Adam in the end, where you. Well, hold on. Did I see them? Yeah, I've seen all of them, but
yeah, it came out 2001.
He fights that weird creature thing in the end, the Atom.
I'm not sure.
Schizoid kind of ending.
Oh no, it's another one. Yeah, that did happen. It was Adam and the girl came back to be big again in this one. It's the one where he got to finally confront his dad, and his dad, you got to see his dad missions. He was trying to kill the gods.
Okay, I gotta watch the third one all the way through then, because I started watching the third one and I was like, oh, this is the same as the second one, but I guess it changes the ending.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta watch. It's a new one. I'm looking it up now. They got 3, and I think the one. It's called Thrice Upon a Time. It came out 2001. But they go through the whole schizo. They go through the whole mindscape of like, why am I here and stuff like that. But the cool thing that I saw about it, I'm not gonna ruin everything though. But he finally sees his dad, and his dad was on this mission to turn every human back into the premortal soup of oneness. But the ways that he was doing it, everybody had to die. So it was that story again, then the human faith of, hey, I'm here surviving.
He was trying to cross out everybody, that light cross, make everybody that light cross thing.
Yeah, that popped up again.
Yeah.
So I was like, this really be the missions.
I think that's how they were representing a soul in that. And everybody was going to be getting soul blasted, and then they were going to become one with Adam or some crap.
Yep. And then restart again.
Yeah, his dad was crazy. I mean, like on multi-layers of crazy. Like, that girl was like a clone, I think, of his mother or something.
It was.
Or his sister or something. Yeah.
And he was going.
His dad was like really nuts.
He was in love with her too. He's like, hey, it's the same DNA. Yeah. And that's what made it weird that Shinji liked her, but he didn't even know. He didn't
Yeah,
even
he
know.
didn't know, and she was kind of in on it, but not in on it, and yeah,
They faced that a lot more in this third one because they was going
yeah.
over this thing. I was watching some random
It was,
YouTube video about
it was always diving
Freudian
into these
logic.
psychological things that link to different either Christian belief systems and also different Greek like whatchamacallit systems. Philosophy. Yeah, philosophy.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know people actually was researching that a lot. Like fans of the show, they got
Oh
tons
yeah.
of things talking about theories, pointing to where he probably got this, and they documented the mess out of the process of making it. I didn't know that either. There's like a couple
Yeah,
documentaries
just
out.
watching it. Yeah, just watching it, you could tell. But yeah, I have that here. I used to have it on DVD before I ever saw it start to get famous.
Oh. Yeah, I could tell how it wasn't that big when it first came out. People was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, it was kind of on those. It was kind of like that artistical madness because they didn't understand like it went too far some places. Yeah,
That's the right
especially
term too, artistical
yeah,
madness.
the Western. I want to see Spriggan on Netflix when it starts to come out. But what was that other anime? Twilight of the Dark Master. Twilight of the Dark Master is weird too. I like those
I gotta
ones
add
that
that
have
to the
that
radar.
weird world kind of beings, and then they're kind of just telling you the story that you can't really change what's happening as it's going along. It's just gonna tell you how it played out.
Following the narrator as a narrator of the reality. Why everybody in the story think it's real.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing with some of these too. I like anime because they'll build you into a whole world, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, but you know what? That part was just a dream. Here's actually what was going on."
Now, yeah,
Like,
they take
did
those risks. American cartoons won't.
you ever play Super Mario Brothers 2? The
I
one where you
had
can
to.
play the Princess, Toad, and Luigi and
Yeah,
Mario. All
I
that.
had to play it. I played all the Marios throughout time. I
When
just
you
don't
beat
remember
that
the
game, you
levels.
realize Mario's just dreaming. You can, it's built on another game. It wasn't supposed to be a Mario game, but yeah, Mario is just dreaming in that version. That's why it's not a canon story.
What?
Yeah, Mario's just dreaming.
Oh, I found it. I'm about to hold on. I'm gonna skip into the end. Turn off the sound so no copyright really. And speaking of dopamine, like intelligent creatures, playing video games, them sounds, them ding
Yeah,
ding.
yeah. Video games have always been there, especially with the music.
Oh, here it is. He's dreaming. And then it just goes through the credits. Princess play princess. Totally. That's hilarious. The end. I want to know, did anybody put that out there in the past? Like, hey, this is actually talking about mushrooms. Like, just straight up mushroom trip. There was like everybody silent on it. Hey, who's there? Hey, Alley
It's
Cat.
Cat. How are you?
Excelente. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm driving right now. But I wanted to say, you said in the past, like recent past? Like, what do you mean past? Because I was looking at this documentary, and I'm not sure if you're familiar. I think it's called, Voynich manuscript.
Yeah,
And
and they
it's a
can't read it.
documentary. I saw it when I was younger. Like, yeah, but if you look at the images, it looks like they're talking about mushrooms. Like the images, it has like plant like it's just crazy. You have to like see it with your own eyes, like make your own like. But yeah, Voynich man.
I got it up now for everybody. Yeah, they definitely had a plethora of herbs in there, including mushrooms. In order to even want to write that book, they had to have their mind in some other space. I know it was this team that was acting like they decoded it, but then it turned out that wasn't real. Oh, a master creator say he's Yoshi mixed with one of the browser's family. Hey, Wild Man Ninja. Bring this back up. But yeah, yeah. That's somebody had to just say writing it down. But yeah, it had to be somebody, like you saying. They've already somebody was already always in tune with what was going on with the plant medicine and everything.
And that's the thing. It was written down. It's just the translations aren't there. It's different translations.
There's no telling all the different names for even mushrooms in Japanese and the different species that they was running into and just called it something else. And unlocking all these different martial arts like the ways of the samurai and even all these anime now. The anime nowadays. Like this the whole genre, like a whole cultural movement nowadays.
Yeah, all the mythologies into anime.
Yeah, yep. Thanks for that. They like got it from the mythologies and like, hey, let's remix this. Like literally create some new gods real quick that people gonna dress up like, base their behaviors off of, and it's gonna make sense. That makes.
Sorry, I got called out real quick.
Now he's talking about anime and them like incorporating mythologies in them to make them work in the first place. I would say.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of them will do that. Have you ever seen Wait, I think you may have been the one who told me about it. Maggie or Maggie?
Yeah.
Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
Where he calls the jinns out of his flute. And Sinbad, where he uses multiple jinn. He binds them with himself.
Yeah, those two shows. I think they made a Sinbad spin-off show of that too. But no, it's
Yeah.
controlling the spirits. And they used to talk about the Temple of Solomon and everything. And he controlled the spirits.
Yeah, they use the metal and then they put the seal into the metal, special metals.
I was interested in that where the Magi, ever since the Magi on the Mummy, and they had all the black on, they helped save the day.
Yeah.
And they held the secrets or was in tune with the secrets of whatever.
Magi or Magus. Hold on, I'll be back.
Yeah, Magi, Magus, Magician.
Yeah, it's the same magi that went to see baby Jesus.
Yeah.
They were following the stars and stuff.
Magi, Magus, also called wise men in Christian tradition.
Or mage. I found that too.
I used to use that word a long time ago. I forget where I got that from. It was some show.
Maybe the games, because I know it's in the games now. Everywhere.
Yeah, it had to be. I'm still in the card game, so I probably ran across the term. Magi. Oh, that's why I typed this word in. I'm like, why did I type that? See if they can give a little etymology. Oh, start from Mongoose. That's the first one. A learned magician. Persia. I remember this game called Prince of Persia. That had some magic in it too. You had to slow down time, rewind it.
And all the symbols.
It was excellent. I think I played like up to the third or fourth one. And then I found out it was actually made a long time ago on like the SNES on like a 2D platform format. Bah. It's going to be pretty cool. I was just thinking randomly about how the progression in technology, how it's becoming like just how the imagination is to some folk. How one thing can be a whole big world, but you just have to imagine it to be that world and imagine yourself in that world. And now technology is making it easier to bring these other worlds out. Like if somebody created a 2D world game, in the future it could be converted to a 3D game. And now people is if you download this program, I was trying to remember what it was called. It can hack some old 2D games and make them into VR games. So now you're experiencing that same world in VR. So like, hey, why are you just looking at that painting on the wall? Like to some people, like, oh, I'm fully in there. I'm in a whole nother place. You just see me standing here right now. And then we had the old pictures. We had to stand in 15 minutes or just paintings and stuff. It is how it looked. And then like with the technology that we have here, we could say, hey, this is the experience. Like, look around. So they're gonna have the senses with the smells and stuff. And then they're gonna take it really far and be like, hey, you could die. But you signed the contract. Hey, Cajun J73. He said, did you finish that part of the game? No. I actually I was gonna finish it. I was gonna finish it live with y'all, so I didn't play it. But something did happen that I gotta say is that I didn't save it, so I cut it back on so I could save it. And I looked around for 2 seconds, and then I found the answer of why I was stuck in that room for 15 minutes. So when I actually do play the game again, we'll be able to continue the story like readily. It was like a perspective thing. I had to look at the pillar in the wall at an angle, and the symbol was half on the pillar and the other half was on the wall the whole time. So I just had to change my perspective up, give it some time. But yeah, that game Becoming Human, we're gonna go back into it. Like a movie we can comment on, pause, play, change. Pretty fun. Hold on, I'm gonna play this song for y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me go get a lighter.
Yep, all the world's crisscrossing.
I'm back. Oh.
I was just saying really quick. All the
ahead.
worlds are crisscrossing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Did
What
you
was
watch
that
the
up
show
in the chat?
Upload on Hulu?
Hey, how's it going? Oh, for some reason I can't hear you.
You talking to me or you talking to the people in the chat?
Oh, you. Hey.
Oh, I'm good. I was in here
Right.
earlier. I figured you couldn't hear me because I kept talking and nobody was answering me.
Oh no, I couldn't hear you.
I didn't hear
Oh,
you
okay.
either.
Okay. Yeah, something wrong with the Discord. But I was just saying, did you watch that show Upload on Hulu where the dude died and but his consciousness was uploaded into like a virtual reality, and in order for his wife to have sex with him, she had to put on like this suit, the suit you were
Oh,
talking about.
Hmm.
yeah. The
I
haptic
watched that
feedback suit.
twice.
Yeah, me too. I watched the whole thing twice too.
I watched it
Yeah. But
twice.
you know, that haptic feedback suit is probably going to be one of the best selling things.
Yep.
Watch.
I might have
Yeah.
one.
I
Speaking of
am gonna
that,
humanity, okay?
I've been lost
I mean,
faith and gained faith in humanity at the same time.
I lost faith in humanity and found a new faith.
It is what it is. But that show was real interesting. They was introducing a lot of concepts to the imagination of people that they probably didn't even think about yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when he had his own funeral and they was able to see him behind the glass screen.
Yep. They weren't paying attention to him.
They did not care at all.
But that was interesting to me how when they transferred his so-called transferred his consciousness to the digital reality, they clearly killed him. They cut off his head. He was no longer living. So all they have is memories of him. They're trying to basically make us think that a compilation of memories is equivalent to a human being.
And that's what the grandpa was saying of the girl. I get bad with TV names.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's always one of their philosophical arguments and like debates. Are you just the memories? If I put your memories in somebody else's body, is that now you and that person?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
they
that
try
lady.
to play these.
So are you your memories or what are you apart from your memories?
Are you something like an underlying tendency that would build these same things up anyway? You would always kind of go back to fall in love with the same person, even though they removed your memories. They always try to play these different. But I think what it is what we are as a person is so many different layers. It's like people who get like their minds, like they have the amnesia, but people who love them still see them as like the person who they were, even though they can't remember that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's so many different layers on why you are you.
Yeah.
I think it becomes a trap when we think about not a trap, but like an experience when we think about it as like the memory just being us. I'm thinking about this old song I used to listen to when it said, a good friend once told me you are a memory, without them we equal nothing. But then that would be the only part I would pay attention to because of what I was going through at the time, instead of the rest of the song. When he talk about seeing places that he want to be and suddenly feeling so free and stuff like that, and it's like more than just a memory, and that good friend was like the good friend was kind of like a Smith agent, so to speak. Like here we're comfortable here, like yeah, but it's not the total story of everything.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
easy
also
here.
like Total Recall. It could be a trap, or it could be like an escape. It depends on how you want to use that experience. So, or how that experience is used on you.
Yeah. Something like, man, I couldn't help but struggle. What you mean? I ain't have it.
Think about like putting the memory into somebody that they've lost all their limbs, but they're perfectly fine.
I know.
You could mess with people in certain ways, but you could also give people the experience that have never had like limbs, the experience of walking, and people who have never seen certain things, the experience of seeing things. So technology always plays that, because technology doesn't give into the world with this I'm a good or I'm a bad. It's kind of like anything that else that comes into creation. It comes in and it's like, what am I going to do, or what are you going to do with me?
Yeah. That's how I seen that whole show upload and with the Total Recall. Like just What do you choose to do? Because everybody still made a choice. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger I think that was him, chose to like be in that military program, and that other guy he chose to sign up because his girlfriend was like, "I'm gonna take care of you while you over there. I'm gonna give you money. Family gonna help you out." And then it looked like a trap at first, but he learned a lot and experienced things while he there. Learned why he died. Like his friend
That's
was
the other thing too.
trading on him.
Can your memories go make new memories?
I know. Do you make new memories or do you jump into memories?
Yeah, because if your memories are making new memories in that type of experience, then like say if like you're not actually physically dead and you send off like a doppelganger to kind of like how Naruto used to do it. He'd send off doppelgangers and then when he'd bind back with that doppelganger, he'd know all the experiences that doppelganger experienced.
Yep, shadow clones.
Yeah. So it could be like really strange. Say you can't physically travel to Mars or some planet that's so far away that it'd be so hard to take your physical body there because by then your physical body would have to rot or whatever. The machines to take you there would hold you in stasis for so many years. It'd be just crazy. But to send like a quantum signal of yourself into another form of yourself, kind of like how it sometimes feels like when you're on mushrooms, like you're like a signal from someplace else just inhabiting this form. Yeah.
Just interacting.
And then
Kind
when
of
you
like Avatar, right?
yeah
Yeah. But then in
or
Hinduism, that's what they call us, avatar
yeah
bodies,
yeah
avatar.
yeah like but say when your avatar dies or maybe even not when it dies, it's always sending back data, or maybe when you dream you
Yeah,
go back
yeah,
into the yeah
yeah, yeah. That's what it's depicted as.
I was gonna mention those dreams. Like we still traveling.
this was another thing like I had on this one mushroom experience too. Like, how do you know you are the soul that started in your body in the first place? Like, how do you know multiple souls don't just kind of come in, leave,
Come in
and
and
you
out.
just being the you that is the body is just, and that's why sometimes you could be an upset person when you're not really that way normally, but you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But it's that you woke up with another essence inside of you. To this world, we'd be like, oh, that person's possessed. But yeah, or he's acting strange today. But it's just that's how it's flipping around.
I used
Or
to say somebody got a different controller. Like my cousin playing the game today. Or the cousin.
Possession is very easy when you're like inebriated or in a state of like if you're drunk or something. Like
yeah,
I've known people to say things that are completely out of character and they
yeah,
don't
shift
remember it if
spirit.
they were blacked out. Yeah, it's like something entered them.
Or maybe it's like also like we've been seeing in like these parallel things. Like what if like you're in a certain drunk state and another parallel you is in a certain drunk state, and by you two being in that like certain sequence, both of you
Mm.
start switching things over, shifting back and forth.
Together.
And you just see it as getting dizzy.
Yeah.
I got the spins. Oh, I gotta lay down.
Echo. Everybody speaking in double.
I had some experiences like drinking a lot, and I'm one to if I drink a lot, I will just say, "All right, I'll be back." Like I won't try to push it and just be there sick in front of everybody. I go lay down, and my mind be just whoosh, just out there.
Yeah, because you get to the parallels right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I can't deal with this and be out there. I see this as something different. Like, I don't be just saying, oh, my body and all that be equated to it too. But my mind just be echoing. I'm like, wow. I be observing it through all the pain.
I am not gonna let Ty from Alpha 6318 start telling people all this stuff. I know what he did last night.
I had to stop for a long time for that. I feel like a year and a half of drinking.
That's some doorways, portals in that bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's called wines and spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
I mean,
intention put into it.
Mm-hmm. Who knows what the hell kind of intention they put into these alcohols? And we're just
Yeah,
over
that's the
here.
other thing. Yeah. When you make spirits for yourself, you kind of would call spirits that would you would be more in tune with for you. But when certain corporations are making these spirits, you probably getting what corporations are in tuning into their own corporate essence. So
true.
all you're getting is I want to go get money sometimes and whatever. Yeah,
That's a
the
rock.
commercial. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just watching a Noriega podcast. I think it's the Drink Champs, and he had ASAP Rocky on there, and he actually brought his manager on there. That well, not manager. Let me get this straight, because they made sure to say that he has ownership in the company alongside this other guy he brought on. But he was coming up with a new liquor, and he was saying that yeah, I designed the bottle on a napkin, and they helped me bring it to life, and I'm real in tune with the whole process because he was talking about how he was learning from Jay-Z that Cristal and all these other companies don't really care about certain kind of people and they don't want them representing their brands in the first place. And I was just like, oh, I'm getting to see the, like we saying, the intention put into it.
Yep.
Right, right.
I still skip some of the rest because like this is a long ad thrown in the middle of a podcast. Make it seem like I'm interested in this alcohol. But I like the way they was talking about it and the way designing the shape of the bottle and making it not like other things. I was like, this is something unique. And ASAP Rocky be on the acid and everything, so he doing his thing.
That's what actually. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to a lot of these individual custom made. Around here they do it. I think it's every autumn, right around holiday Halloween. Beer, a whole bunch of different custom beers. Even at the Walmart they have them.
It's
With the local,
Oktoberfest.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
different
that's what
local
it's called.
beers. Yeah,
I
it's
live in a beer town. The Sierra Nevada company is right here, so they
yeah.
throw
Our
something huge in
usually,
October.
I guess that's probably what happens with most of the harvest. You turn it into alcohol, grain alcohol.
And I was looking up. Well, I was looking up and ran across a couple times. Somebody was talking about the other herbs that they used to mix in their elixirs and wines and stuff back in the past. Like in the Christian Bible, when it said they was drinking wine, it wasn't the same kind of wine that we had today.
Yeah, yeah. Wines then is kind of like yeah, brews. It's just mixtures of stuff. That's why I was saying all this person had to do is mix mushrooms in, or all Jesus has to be is the mushroom that is mixed into water, and then everybody gets drunk on it. And it doesn't. And
The
most
blood of
mushrooms can do
Christ.
it. Yeah. Even the amanita. That's why they also would say that the Holy Grail in certain theories
Oh, uh-huh.
is an amanita because just cupping the drinking the liquid out of the a cupped amanita that has absorbed most of the muscimol and stuff into the water
I
from the
used to
dewdrop would
yeah,
get people
the
drunk.
it turned into a literal cup. Like the
Yeah,
mushroom as it breaks the veil, starts cupping.
yeah,
They drink that. They're like, there go my holy grail. Y'all going all over the earth killing people to find this thing.
yeah.
Allegedly.
See, yeah, different legends later end up, yeah, people get it confused because they're always thinking it's something else. But even in the story, they're talking about they're looking for this king's cup when it's a carpenter's cup, a poor man's cup, something
Hmm.
that a poor man would eat from or drink from. Yeah,
That would make sense. All the stories of searching for gold always turns around.
yeah. A lot of well, even in like when they were looking for the cities of gold too, and like
I was thinking of El Dorado.
yeah, El Dorado, yeah, those are mostly in the visions. And they didn't want to believe that these things were in the visions because these people also had gold hanging around. So they were like, "You must have gold someplace else."
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I'm looking at even how they made the movie El Dorado. You know, the cartoon tried to make it look like you in the imagination, but like being
Oh
here,
yeah.
them thinking that, hey, what we gotta find it, like give us everything. Like
You seen Atlantis? I think Atlantis was done kind of like that too.
I was gonna bring that up too. Atlantis was definitely like that.
The blue
Second one was
line.
so-so, but I like the first one.
Pocahontas too. And then like when John Smith asked her about gold, she picked up the corn. She's like, this is the only gold we have.
And they was like, let's
Which,
turn this into yellow corn.
but you know what though, the symbology I thought was awesome because the corn fed them, you know?
Yeah.
So in a sense, that was their gold.
She ain't lying. He ain't just understand.
You know, a lot of those people, if they would have just listened and gone along, using the crops that those people had learned how to grow and establishing some type of food trade at that point in time, could have fed so much of England instead of them doing what they decided to do is, oh, we're gonna do battles again, y'all.
I know.
We're gonna try to cross the water and fight all these people.
Cause you are right, Yuel. They were scared. That was part of their motivation. They was starving. They ain't know how to do agriculture on this soil.
They should have just, it was madness. Basically, a lot of these times that they were running things like madness.
Telling everybody was a witch. It's like, we gotta make this work in reality, base reality. We gotta whip people, kill people.
The acceptance to turn them into a whole bunch of really violent people. It's
You said the toll?
No, they took the pacifists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and Jesus and all the speakings and teachings of Jesus, the pacifist, and turned it into the extremely violence.
Yeah.
So everybody they came across had to be demonized, and then they always would get into conflict with them.
Gotta have a reason for the season. And like, it's time to conquer and feed my family. And God said that this is my promised land.
Yeah.
We arrived on the promised land just like the Jews arrived, even though the Jews was just at war too all the time.
Yeah, they kept taking stories where people weren't learning in the story how to be good people and kind of running with that and thinking that it was going to be better for them. But it's like they keep repeating this like broken record thing. It happens a lot with belief systems though, because people think that the loops that we get in are just individual loops, like we as an individual getting caught in these loops. But these loops also grow into our society, and they're a bigger loop, but they're usually just the same thing. We'll repeat certain styles, certain certain like tendencies, certain like problems will come back around.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's just we just don't want. It's like the kid in the playground who doesn't want to grow up.
It is like that. I used to get inklings of that too when I used to see myself acting like people that was on the TV, like TV dads or relationships and stuff. And that's the same thing. Like, it's acted out. I'm acting it out then. Like, what? I could play another movie.
Yeah.
Like, Martin was good for that.
Yeah, you can play a different role.
Because then you don't know. You don't really know you playing the role at all times. Till you like see out the corner of your eye.
Each title that you have, like a friend, that's a title. So you play that role. Father, that's a title. You play that role. Businessman, whatever. We just have many titles.
And then a lot of times they don't align to who you are, so you can be these roles that could shift away from who you are.
I know that's what that's why I'm getting into I'm trying to phrase it differently. But I was thinking about comedy and how sorry, I'm getting a little lit. Mushroom kicking in more, but it's feel good, feel good. I was thinking about Joe Rogan, and it was something correlated to what y'all were talking about. But y'all can keep going.
Yeah, with comedy though, it's one of those things though. It's like it's like a multi-layer. It's like people would think you'd want to be the king because the king is the one that can say everything that he wants, but that jester layer gives that it is like a position that can say even more than the king. The king has to watch his words, keep his things in a certain limit and certain formation, so that the people always keep like a certain like eye of like
the kid in the
trust.
playground who doesn't want
But
to grow
the
up.
jester or a
It is
comedian can
like that.
kind of
I used to
use these different layers of like jest and
Individual loops,
your
like
folliness,
we as an
be the
individual get
fool
caught in these
sometimes
loops.
when the
Then
king
these
needs to
loops
be
also grow
appear wise.
into
The
our
jester
society.
can appear like the fool, but kind of get that wisdom out. And a lot of these comedians that are the best ones are usually the ones that can kind of take a social situation and kind of put that laugh on there, but make everybody see, hey, this is kind of a problem.
all at the same time. Now I've been indulging in so much comedy for the past year. Now I was like, yo, I feel like getting up on stage. I was looking at this open mic poster. I took a picture of it. Who knows? Because I found that like
You
exactly
tried
how
like
you were
any open
saying.
stages,
Instead, I try any open what?
around you? Because
Oh,
sometimes these places you have open stages, and you just got to go up there and try to lay down some lines.
they have one down. They have one downtown,
And
and
a
people
lot of them you
go
don't
up
even
there.
have to do comedy. Some of them have poetry if you just have some words that you want to without interaction. Because comedy a lot of times plays off the interaction of the people. So you're like reading them as you're saying the jokes, and it's, playing off of which ones they kind of like more, and then you go into that layer. But poetry,
Oh, wait,
can be just the way layer you want it to be.
I see what you mean. And then they had to receive it with their own interpretations
Yeah.
instead of fishing for something, fishing for a laugh. Like the
It's like you fish for the laugh, you catch that fish, but you're not
mm-hmm.
actually even going to eat that fish. You're going to gut that fish, and you're going to throw back what you gutted, because that's like chum for the next couple more laughs.
That's the name of the comedy game. It's this comedian that opens up on the Kill Tony show called Hans Kim, and he talked about doing DMT and stuff before on the show. I was like, oh, he's pretty cool. So I've been like following his career a little bit. It's mostly on the Kill Tony because they don't record his shows when he on tour and stuff. But he goes live on YouTube. So I jumped in his live, and the first question I asked him, the first question I did want to ask him was about DMT. I said, I don't know if I want to first of all. So, but I did ask him, what was the first joke that killed the room? He was like, hey, I'm Asian, hey, and then he went into like a 5-10 minute speech about that. And then I asked him, do you see the link? Yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And then he said, I wrote, do you see the link between autism and DMT? Because he always says, Tony, the host, always says, here, he's very autistic, just to remind you guys. Because he just says whatever's on his mind. And he's really honest about everything. Like, he just says anything. And he just got a real chill tone about it. He don't be like extra excited, like, I'm saying this now. He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But he ignored that question. He read the question afterwards. It was all cool, though. I know he saw it. I'm gonna bring it up if I ever meet him.
Yeah.
That was that story.
Yeah, a lot of these comedians, what they do is they tell you stuff that like either you'll have like a connection to, or tell a story that's way out there, but in a way that you can connect to it. So it's like it like kind of pulls you in on like these little nostalgia things, so you'll remember.
like family, like
parts. Of,
childhood
yeah,
stuff. So, um, everybody got that one uncle, and then blah 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 blah
yeah. The
blah.
uncle, or the time we were on that cruise. Even if even if people ain't been on a cruise or anything like that, they'll kind of connect it to like different type of you know
Outings, group
yeah
get.
A good
yeah
storyteller.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah
Like Joe
yeah
Rogan would
that's
say, even if you gotta
like
lie, as long as it's funny.
your mushroom experiences and stuff like that. Well, even then, a lot of times when in your story, when you're telling it, sometimes you gotta, you know,
Right.
excite a piece because it pulls in that layer of excitement.
Mm-hmm. It's how you seen it. Well, how you witnessed it.
And many times too, it's also when you're telling the story, it's how you want them to see it too, because it's like you're drawing this art for them. Like it's word art, but you're kind of giving them these pictures in their mind through these different words.
And that comes from being more of yourself. Cause then like a good comedian will paint like individual pictures. Cause I indulge in a lot, so I can tell if somebody took it from somewhere else or somebody going down a familiar lane. I'm like, oh, I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
The constant readaptment to the environment, which comes to like being social, like I said, socially, spiritually aware, like seeing what's going on with yourself for what it is, like in an unbiased way,
Yeah.
and mostly painful things too.
Yeah. Yeah. Things that people can connect with, because a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, it's like the things a jester can do is many times take what is bad or something that is seen as stupid, and kind of bring it into a new light, and give everybody a way to see it as, hey, oh, okay, it's funny, but yeah, that's a situation.
Just Tai, the natural fly guy.
What's going on, Master Creator?
What's going on?
Hey, hey, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. What kind of
Excellent.
magic did you use today, man, when you woke up, Tai, that you can remember?
Oh.
What kind of magi did you use today, my brother?
Oh, it was I was supposed to do an Amazon delivery because I'm doing that, then doing the food, and it's like done in a better amount of time and everything. And
Yeah.
but it was something like I was already feeling different about it this morning, and then something pop up on the apps and everything, and it didn't wind up working out. And it seemed like just what I wanted, and then I had other ways to make money that wound up popping up from other apps and stuff. And I was just comfortable talking
Okay.
with my brother, and he was like, I was talking to my brother for like a half hour, 40 minutes. He in Philly. I don't get to talk to him too often, so
Your
he's
little
really
brother,
diving
right?
deep. Yeah, he
Your younger
14.
brother? Oh yeah. You was telling me every time you talk to him, you do try to have them good long talks with him, because you're not even around, so it's kind of good to have those long talks. 'Cause I remember you saying you remember that you was going through his stages, so you was able to kind of walk him through it with everything.
Yeah, for real. And he still be doing that. He just don't talk about it. He a cool guy.
Yeah, yeah. Too cool for me, brother. Too cool.
But he still be talking and interesting. But he be writing say, yeah, cause my brother doing this. I know I can do this and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm like, cool, Renzo. I was talking to him about credit in different ways to
Oh
like,
yeah.
cause he said I don't think I want to go to college. He said I think I want to like do some like start now with something. Cause he real into computers too. I said, hey, we see how it work out. We'll see how it pops up.
It's always good to like,
Yeah.
even if he don't want to take college seriously, he could just go to like one of those community college and take like those computer courses, just so he
Mm-hmm.
could meet
Quick course.
other people that's similar to what I'm saying. It's always good to like meet others that's working on the magic themselves. That way, y'all could combine y'all stuff later on, collaborations and stuff.
Hey, it's
Yeah,
funny you just said. Oh, I'm sorry. I
I was just
said,
saying
mm-hmm.
networking.
My bad, I keep cutting over you off.
No, that's great. That's making jokes.
No, it was funny that you mentioned that right as I was thinking about how my brother was talking about the magic he creating with working out, and he was saying he got all his friends working out now. I was like, oh, bro, I said, I gotta catch up. I can't let you get past me. I said, I can't let you outbuff me. Because I've been on my mind for like the past 2 months. Because I was doing it. I don't care about that. But it was a past story. I was into a heavy, slow down, heavy. But now, like, everything is ankling back to like, yo, let's go.
Yeah, Yoel and Theo inspired me to get some free money. You know.
I'll be seeing the quotes pop up. That's been part of my engine too.
You should get you some rings or just do some gymnastics, like get on like the bar at the park. Start trying to do those pull-ups and stuff.
Monkey bar, yeah.
I gotta get some gloves.
You know what?
Hey Ty, did you ever play tennis?
Yeah, I had a tennis class in high school.
Yeah, you look like you would be pretty good on the tennis court for some reason.
I'll murk anybody in tennis and ping pong. I was in South America beating people in ping pong when we took this trip out there in school.
No, Master Ty.
It's the flow. It's all in the flow.
Oh, yeah.
Could you beat Forrest Gump?
Hey man, bring them. I used to stay after school every day and play, like, and I used to go up at lunchtime to play ping pong. Like, that was my thing. That was my pastime. I was playing ping pong on the VR too.
First ever. That's dope. Ping pong in VR.
Yeah. So I can tell if it's real or not.
Ping pong and tennis, I've actually been good at, but I've actually never really liked playing the actual sport. Even though I could play it, I just didn't really like it.
Too much running?
No, tennis, I used to play it at the park. But, after a while, you play with people who hit the ball out of the thing, and then you get into these whole things where you're trying to find somebody to play with.
Got you.
I remember, like, playing, watching people play Pong against the backboard. I was always going to try it that much.
I used to practice ping pong like that a little bit.
Yeah, backboard.
Mm-hmm. It was some way. I'm trying to remember. Put it up against the wall. Hey, Big Chill. I see you in there.
Really chill. What's that, brother? What's that?
The table, I think, folded up. At least the tables we had.
It's all around, man. What's that?
What's that?
You got a blunt?
It's weird.
Just tying it in the tie zone, man.
Yes,
sir.
Real in the field.
You know how we do in Thailand? While we speak Taiwanese.
You know how we does it, cousin. Come on, man.
You tying or dying? I think I'm doing both.
Tie-dye. Didn't you have some shirts that was tie-dye?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have some tie-dye shirts.
Yeah, what is a wavelength of thought? What did y'all thought on that? Like how yeah, like do you like is thought a channel you tune into or is it something you thought about? Like even in a group setting.
Well, you have thought waves.
Pretty far. I think it's pretty far. Should be pretty far.
I think it's
I kind of forgot who I was talking to, but it's a cool question.
Like a multi-spectrum thing. Like coming in at so many different frequencies.
What?
But they're not electromagnetic frequencies like we believe. It should be. It's like on some other dimensional layer that kind of flows in.
See how the light is pulsating behind me? That's like thought pulsating in your mind. But which thought do you choose to acknowledge? That's the question. Many thoughts you don't even remember having. And that's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
I think in the human body, our thoughts are like limited, But once we die or something, it probably expands
Somebody
into a
try
much.
inviting Regal. Yo, Ty, Regal and Theo's trying to get into your server, but it says like either they got to sit or they're blocked or something. I don't know what happened. But Regal's like
I
trying to
hit him.
FaceTime me and shit. So can somebody
Now
invite Regal and
it's
unblock him?
missing.
Because I ain't getting personal like that. You
Your
know what I'm saying?
your site verified thing is
Gotcha.
not doing it.
Not doing his job. All right.
There's in the web.
Yeah, I invited Regal and Theo.
Oh,
And
I was about to
Theo
do
started
that.
following me and shit. So I don't know what's happening. Send them an invite. Somebody, everybody.
I got you.
Regal's just
But what
trying to
you?
use this because it's Sunday.
Trying to promote the love.
Click the
Do that
mushroom
on Sunday.
So always say, where is the love?
verified
It's right
tab.
here, man. Come on. There is the love. There is the love. Look at Master Creator right there. You see that? That's a whole chunk of love right there. Come on. What are we talking?
You need to put that chunk of love away.
Ooh, speaking of
Where's
chunks
it
of
at?
love, I'm gonna make a cake.
What kind of cake is that?
I can smell it everywhere.
I'm gonna make a cake.
Oh, you're making another cake, huh?
Click
Yes.
the mushroom.
Did you get yourself a mixing bowl?
I have a mixing bowl that I used before. It's a bowl, regular bowl. You know, a mixing bowl. A bowl is a bowl,
You
guys.
got yourself a mixing bowl because you're gonna get yourself a blender. Right.
No, that's good enough. Thank you. No, I have a blender. I have everything. It's just in
There
that
you go.
glass area behind their pantry that use it.
Gonna be mixing with a spoon again, y'all.
Hey, it tasted great.
Remember to switch hands.
Listen, Betty Crocker herself couldn't make it better.
All right. I just wrote them with some instructions, and if it don't work, I'm gonna take it off. Cause I was going through that vision a couple days ago. It was somebody talking about the Discord not being able to get in because because the thing. And I was like, oh, but I don't want the bots to come in. And then another thought was like, why are you worried about the bots? Come on, like you talk to the bots. We bots too.
Trying to use the Me 6 to keep out the other Me 6s.
Yeah. Keep out that bad cousin. I don't know no better.
You know that's what he is, right? Me 6 is a Me Seeks.
Me Seeks from the show. I was about to say
Rick
some
and
other
Morty.
cartoons. Rick and Morty.
Remember to give it a task and that's all it lives for?
Until it completes it.
Yeah, that's what a Me 6 does.
Nice.
MEE6. It's the same algorithm. I think that's where they got the joke from.
Oh. That'd be interesting. It's always good to find that stuff out, like on Futurama, how it was scientists that worked on that channel and go back find a lot of hidden gems.
Yeah. You can it's like oh, what was that thing that it was telling me this morning? What is a human's purpose? A human's purpose is making their purpose. That's the only purpose a human has.
That's just like how it was in that game about the android I was playing yesterday, and it was like kept saying you need to make your own choice now. The artist was telling his android, not knowing that he's about to die soon anyway. So I was like, really, he's really gonna be on his own. Like nothing is never for a reason. All the little sayings people be saying.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
So
You said it's a what?
it's little breadcrumbs.
Just gotta be hungry enough.
You know how everybody has their creation. Go ahead. I think everybody's cutting in now. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, I think Stu is talking. I keep seeing it go green, but I don't hear any voice. Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't talking. I just came back upstairs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I kept saying it flashed
Everybody
green,
said
but nothing was
creation
coming
story,
up.
but creation isn't finished. So they like are cutting the story off. Everybody is still in the creation story.
Creation.
Yo, I saw that experience.
Not me. No.
I was part of. We was a part of every single sci-fi adventure love story ever that I ever even seen in this reality.
The Aqua Inception phase.
You said you
Aqua
had to
Inception.
trip
Don't ask
like
me what
that.
it means. I don't care.
Aqua Inception.
Aqua. Yeah, that was a mushroom trip.
Damn.
Aqua Inception.
That's all
My
the
big
supervisor
chill.
told me. They said
The
you made it to the
Canadian
next level.
eau de
When you
la toilette.
donate another $100,000, you can make it to the next level. That's all they said to me. I don't know. I'm supposed to be at the next level.
Big chill. That's a scam. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not Scientology. It's something else created by Ron Hubbard, but it's the secret Ron Hubbard religion.
Oh, okay. That's not a scam then.
No,
Then, if it's not public, it's not a scam. If it's
Like the
underground, it's real.
Big deal.
No matter
Have you
what.
seen the Pentaveret thing, the Pentaveret on Netflix with your boy from what was it? Austin Powers, Michael Myers. Yeah.
Oh, on Netflix.
It looks funny. Yeah, it looks funny. Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah, I binged the whole season. Chill. Check it out.
Some people that were in that.
Yeah, it's all about Canada and stuff. The Canadian guy is part of the whole thing. So.
I didn't know Mike Myers.
Michael Myers plays all the parts, man. But
I didn't know he was from Canada. I didn't know Mike Myers was from Canada.
Yeah, he's from a Scarborough boy. Same where Bare Naked
told me
Ladies
that.
are from. Same little town. It's not Toronto, but it's like I'm not from Toronto either. Toronto's just this little area, but we're from GTA, Greater Toronto area. But we say we're from Toronto. We're from other boroughs, and he's from a borough called Scarborough. Scarborough, you know.
Scarborough.
What was cool about the show is that it's mostly improvised. Like he said, he was studying. I watched the back behind the scenes. This other comedian he looked up to, and he said he wouldn't know what the character would say until he put on the costume. So
Yeah,
for
the costume
3 of the
comes
characters, he dressed up and then he made up the words when he was there.
Comes in. Yeah, it's like a topo. What's his name used to do the same thing? Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all he had to do was change his voice, and he was a whole nother person.
You know, Jim Carrey said he'd make these characters and he'd put on the outfit and he'd be that character. And they'd say he would do it so crazy that they'd come up to him and he'd still be in that character, and it wouldn't be till he took the stuff off.
It makes sense though, because he played that character for so long. No matter what parallel movie it was, like Jim Carrey played that crazy ass Ace Ventura type character.
Yeah.
Able man. Until it was like, I think the only movie where he got serious, where I was like, what the fuck kind of movie is this? Was 23 or something like that.
Oh, fantastic.
And I had to watch that. Because, you know, I'm from 23rd Avenue. So I was like,
I see the 2-3 right there in your logo.
You know, 23 is Michael Jordan. He gave that number a lot of magic.
Yeah, that movie was mentally like I smoked one of the first times, and I was lost. It was psychedelic.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this shit? I was so mad because I was not used to him acting like that. It just killed the whole character. I was like, what happened? You killed the character.
Hey, when you see those numbers, no matter what character you playing, you like, whoa. Hold a minute.
Yeah, the numbers in reality, that's what that movie's telling people about, though. How there's certain numbers in our existence that play these roles, and people are tied into them. And that's what numerology, different types of
I don't even want to go deep
astrology.
into that wormhole because that sounds tied into the
Well, all those
equations
wormholes,
and numbers.
when people dive into them wormholes like that, they will do the scribing of the walls, where it's like this madness,
right?
because they tried to,
I gotta remember.
But you know what that is, right? The scribing of the walls. Why they do it in a room like that is because they're building themselves a gym box.
Yes, I
Yeah,
similar.
because that's almost like a whole universe. They're just
Yeah,
making constellations everywhere.
they're
And
This
building
goes
the
here. This
zombie box.
goes here.
They're
This
gonna
goes
call it zombie.
here.
The
I
zombie will give them the answer. A wish. He's a genius.
dealership, right?
Sometimes I feel
Hmm,
like
what
every day,
happened?
sometimes I wake up in a different
What?
universe. I'm telling you.
What'd you say, Kat, about a dealership? Oh, because you're shifting.
I used to work at this dealership, and they had these photo papers, right, that you would print stuff on. So one day I just printed like the Milky Way, a whole bunch of nebulas, and then I put it up on the parameters of the ceiling. Like just pretty, they were colorful, they were pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do
Yeah.
like try to put the stars in their room like that. That's another instinct too. Like to try to bring
So here's
in
my I first met her that
I'm
Sunday.
the only star in my room.
She came from church and she goes, "Oh my God, we just talked about this in church." I was like, "What? My pictures?" She's like, "Oh, the passage they were on was, 'You will know me by my signs and portents in the skies.'" I
yeah.
was like, "Okay."
Right on
Became friends.
time.
Astrological signs that people
Mm-hmm.
used to use as their main triggers. Big Chill knows when he was a kid, he used to have all them stars all over his ceiling.
They used to make fun of people, older people that had Christmas lights all year around.
Never.
But they just in tune.
I come from a different time, man. My time, we used to have those lava
Big
lamps.
Chill, we know
Hey.
about
Them
the
at night,
space
the
camp.
lava lamps.
We know about all your space
Then
camp
we had these
posters.
circular ones that turned, but those were only poor. But if you were really good, you had a lava lamp, and we were pretty good. So, I mean, we were poor, but
Hey,
sometimes
chill.
you can get lava lamps cheap. So yeah, from the '70s to the '80s, it was lava lamps, man.
Hey,
Straight good
chill. Do
lava.
galactic
Yeah.
beings
What?
bang Cripper blood?
No,
He
What's wrong
started
with
talking to somebody.
the
I know.
lava lamp had an issue with blowing that bulb, and then it just sit there in your corner forever because you couldn't never find the bulb to go in there.
man, I missed that, man. I was being paged, man. I was being paged. They know where I'm hiding.
Hey, chill. Chill. I had a question for you.
I'm listening.
Do galactic beings represent Crip and blood?
No colors out there, bro. But there
No
are
color.
some species. There are some species that are separated. Just like on our planet, we're human, but then because we're from different countries, you know what I'm saying? It separates us geographically. And they also have same species that originated at the same place, but over the millions of years has migrated to like other planets. But they are still the same, but they're different. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying?
I know what
So
you're
Yeah,
saying.
there
Big.
like
are some
you're
races where
saying
there
like
are
a
just two of
fucking
them, and they are the same. And just
yeah.
like us, because of their
And they
universe they lived in, their melatonin is
Yeah.
different, so it's a different shade. They're
they're like
both
hat
green.
tips, and
They're
Yeah.
both
Like
green,
they
but it's a
are
be
they
different
fused?
shade of green.
Are they
they
When
be
we
fused?
like
would see them,
responding
we
to
would say
shit.
they're green, but amongst themselves, they distinguish themselves light green and dark green, and they live pretty close to each other, even now. You know
What
what I'm
about the
saying? They're
ones that
very
have like the
similar.
up tentacles and the other ones that have the down tentacles?
Hey man, I'm not a tentacle specialist. You know what I'm saying? I understand there's fluid tentacles. I not really wasn't into tentacles. When I seen those kind of species as a child, they were more intimidating to me. And then when you feel emotion like that, they sense that. So then they cause attention to you. So you don't want that. So I just focused on what I felt comfortable with because it's
And
just
these were
not
Did you
about
things
ever
speech and language.
did
It's
you
all about
ever
emotion, frequency, vibration.
I used to
no
see
but
these as a
those
child.
spatial ones.
There's no voice box. There's no voice box. Oh, let me download a program, put a helmet on. No, no, no. It's all psychic kinetically. All the species in the universe communicate without voice or sound. We don't use our mouth. We use our mind. In our brain, we have a transmitter and we have a receiver. We just don't use it. Fish
That's
use
just the
it.
spore
Animals
kinetic
use it.
species, the ones that were
And any
made
other
by
species
the
outside of planet
terraformers.
Earth uses it.
Because
I'm just
I
saying.
remember you
I
said
knew
you seen
someone
like
was going to ask the question before. How
the
did you
praying
understand?
mantis one. But did you
Yeah,
ever
no, I
see a
don't trust the
crab
praying
like one?
mantis one. Do you know
How
that?
about
I
the
don't
crab
trust them
one?
because
How about
they
the
eat
crab?
human.
The
I saw
crab.
them eating. I
Crabs.
saw them
Do you
eating
ever see
these
the
little
crab one?
human people.
He said, "You
Crab
ever see
people.
the crab people?"
Yeah, the crab type entity. Or more of a crab. You
And
ever
was
see that
this all
crab?
when you was younger, Big
Seen
Chill?
some prehistoric. I seen some
Hey, Big
prehistoric
Chill, real fast before
creatures.
you continue. This is
Yes.
all stuff for everybody in the audience too. Was this stuff that you used to see when you were younger? Somebody started talking to him again. It's all good. We
You know,
live. This is a
and
live show, guys.
Universe.
Almost done.
they sending in abductions. I mean, interactions. These are post-abducted people who they be like, yeah, yeah, Big Chill talking it up again. Sending this.
Gotta mute him.
I hear you, man. I hear. I put it on mute, man. I put it on. You couldn't hear what I was screaming, man.
No, we didn't hear you.
I'm just trying to deal with some different situations. You know what I mean? At the same time, just tying it in, man. What's up? What's up? I'm a
Hey, I'm rolling and
multitask. I'm a
talking.
multi-dimensional being, bro. I can definitely multitask in this dimension, in this realm. Come on, man.
They'll
Now
tell
what
you
was
it's
that question you
impossible.
asked
And I'm
Prince
also
Ty?
in the sixth dimension, the fourth, and the
Oh yeah,
11th,
Big
all
Chill.
at the
I was
same
asking,
time.
where for the audience, like, were you seeing these entities when you were younger, or like as you grew older?
Oh yeah, no, that was they're asking me about when I was young, when I was taken as a child from the age of about 4 to about 13. The experiences that I had, that time, nothing to do with psychedelics. I never did no psychedelics. I mean, I might have tried to smoke a cigarette and puke my guts out, but I didn't take no medication. I was on no medication as a child. I did nothing. But yeah, that they were asking me about that time.
Cool. And they so, what was the last one you asked the master creator?
We
Trolling or they
gotta,
were
we gotta,
sincere. I don't know
we
about
gotta,
that, but they
no, we
know
gotta.
that I believe it's the truth. And I'm not trolling them. I never lied to them. Anything I told them, like something I experienced, is all 100% truth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
The
saying?
show.
Everybody has their own truth. That's his truth, you know. True
Mm-hmm.
life stories.
I'm
We
hoping
in
like
here.
one day I could grab that spaceship where I told you is buried, because I believe it's there, and where I could pick you guys up if it's not true, or
It
maybe
may
somebody
not be a
took the
ship though,
Yeah.
spaceship.
true. I mean, chill. Like I was telling you, it may just be a If they took one device and they put it on the ground, right, and they buried it underneath the ground, and then they take another thing and put it over it, like the ship that they came and was flying over. And the one that's in the ground is just to help it transport mass quantities of people.
No, it's a pod. It's like the size of an egg, but that size of the egg, I can fit like, I know how to do it. I can fit like 20, 30 people in this little light. If the barrier gets bigger, the more the people. The technology is unexplainable. I don't fucking know.
That's what I'm
It's a
saying.
tiny,
It's just a
it's a
teleporter. You just got
small
to get
thing.
there and be able to
Yeah,
activate it.
yeah. It's a small thing, but it can get bigger. It can take a lot of people. I've seen them like this little tiny, one little tiny thing, like pack enough people. So I'm aware of it. But it could have just been a story told to me by a fucking alien just to like shut me up. We're gonna leave that for you anyways. Like, and it's nothing to them that they say every day,
It's
nothing. But to
it's the
me, I
same
took
thing
it
that
as
they would
me
say
saying,
underneath the Sphinx. If you look on the thing where they say there's an alien ship underneath the Sphinx, the
Yeah.
reason they find the actual ship because it's not really the ship. It's just it's like a pad that you use to kind of the ship uses like a teleporting like energy or
Your
like a
Merkaba.
quantum field. Yeah, yeah.
Like
that's
like
what I'm
when you
saying. From a kid, they
and
told me about these places that are from like the
Hmm?
tectonic plates, and I never knew about plates or nothing as a kid. I don't know about earthquakes or nothing. But later on, as an adult, I would learn about these places where the plates meet, give off these frequency, and that's maybe where people hear sounds and you hear gravity ripples. So you could see time ripples, or it could open up so-called portals. And that's
Yeah.
theory now, but I never knew that as
Yeah,
like
but
a
that's what I
five,
mean. Like
6 year old
between those
kid.
two
But they
spaces,
told me that. It's
you
all
would get
about
a
well,
portal
just
or
like
an
Tesla,
opening in
frequency
space
and
time.
vibration, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't tell
That's
me the energy part. They told me frequency and vibration. I know Tesla said energy, but I remember when I was a kid, the aliens always pushing, and it was in the conversation because sometimes you would hear other conversations with other aliens. And I remember it was a lot of, and I never understood as a kid because I never paid no attention, even in school. I never paid no attention when I got older. Frequency and vibration made no sense to me, man. And then you learn about Tesla, and then you learn about everything about
Start
frequency and
clicking.
vibrations. But I'm 50 years old. I never really caught on to frequency vibrations till I was like 30, 20, 30. But I remember they're saying it. So I was like, it's on to something. It's
Like in
on
the
to everything. It's on
2000s, the
to everything.
millennium.
It's on to everything, bro. That's what it was. Everything was about. Like the answer to everything. What was it all about? Like I think within the frequency and the vibration, you get energy. So Tesla sort of missed it. It's not frequency, vibration, and energy. It's just frequency and vibration because frequency and vibration is the energy.
That's why you
You
have E
understand?
equals MC squared. Energy
Yeah,
Well,
equals.
I know, but
the
Tesla said it's all about 3, 6, and 9 frequency,
well,
vibration,
the
and energy.
energy
But he
is
said that
what
to
you
confuse
know. You
people.
do you vibrate to get the frequency.
Yeah, it's what you get
Mm-hmm.
from the maximum power of frequency and vibration. Once you
No-
manipulate both of
Well, yeah,
them,
you get
it's
power
like a
out of
yin
that,
and
but the
yang.
energy is always
Yeah,
there. That's what
the
he's talking
energy is
about.
there. Yeah.
The energy is like
So it's
this
like
potential
the
ether that is
answer's right there. He gave the answer to
It's like the
everything. People
potential
saw it as a
entity that
thought.
wanna. It's like the potential entity
It's
that
like
wanna become alive here. The
how do you get
electricity and
energy out
everything,
of
different
the
forms.
atmosphere? You don't try to grab it out of the atmosphere or pull it. You tickle the atmosphere, and the atmosphere will kind of react back.
And you
That's
see
how the ether
how,
always works.
and you see how that's a whole different kind of technology than what we have now. Like even when they had the Thomas Edison versus the Tesla
Yeah,
things
they're
in
trying to
the
use electromagnetic
business
pump.
field.
Well, I don't think Edison, he had an invention. Didn't he take Teslas?
Oh yeah, that too.
Edison was using
But I was thinking about the
Edison wasn't as smart as
AC.
you thought he was.
I was thinking
Oh,
about the AC and DC current and how
yeah,
we
Edison
like get
used
direct
DC.
current now.
He was trying to use the DC technologies to kind of because it wasn't that he invented that. He was just kind of putting up a lot of the wiring and stuff for that DC. And since he had invested into it, and the
Gotcha.
Westinghouse, yeah, took
He didn't even create it. It was
AC,
this guy in Wyoming. This guy in Wyoming that submitted the patent 4 years before. What? Yeah. Somebody in
AC's
Wyoming
is
submitted the
is a
pattern for that.
simulator.
And Tesla was onto that too, but it was, trust me, man, Edison, and it's documented, man. He stole a lot of people's patents, and you know which
Yeah,
people's
but
he
that's
did.
what
The
Edison was
people who
doing. He was
applied
a
pride,
patent buyer.
and he
Edison
would
Yeah,
cancel
he
their
was in the business
patents and then
side a lot
apply
more
for it and
more
approve it
business
himself.
wise.
He
like
approved
Frank,
the patents.
like
Yeah.
Benjamin
He's the
Franklin.
biggest con artist.
Well, at that time, that's basically what it was. Basically, like now, it's like these big businesses. All they do is buy up these startups.
Yeah,
Same
and
thing.
Oculus was brought by Facebook.
Yeah. Startup buy up.
Oh, let my Rudy out. Let Rudy out.
Oh, just Theo was trying to get into your chat. He says it's like telling him he needs to verify something.
Yeah, I send it. If you see it, tell him to click on the verify tab and click on the mushroom. It's right underneath of the general.
Okay.
And if it don't work past today, I'm a like I said, I'm gonna get rid of it.
I told Ty about
Send it into oblivion. You have done your job. Thank you.
how to do it. He'll figure it out. Taps on the link.
But here it is right here for everybody watching. It's like down here, verify. Then you click that. We in them other realms, you gotta eat the mushy.
Yeah, I just tried to tell him too, but I think he was away from his phone or something because he was
Yeah,
on
he's
mute.
away from his phone right now. He can't hear me.
Yeah, I retried. You're late, Stu.
Oops.
Hey, late stew's a great stew. I was slow cooking.
Matter of fact, man, we want to do a Just Ty freestyle, man. Don't get that beat off Just Ty for 7 minutes straight. Let's find a 7-minute beat and just let Ty go. Oh man, we gonna Ty off. Damn.
Hey, that's up to you. I'm just picking from the hat with these podcasts. Hold on 1 second. I probably actually can. Smoking, chilling.
You said you took some mushrooms?
Yeah, did you
Yeah.
take them up this time? Oh
Yeah, I
shit.
had some of my honey.
10 minutes. It took him 10 minutes. He could make it 23 minutes, but you know, he gonna let the beat breathe for y'all.
On one that's like, I gotta go on the site where I won't get copyrighted. So shout outs to all these people. I'm gonna use your beats. I'll leave the link in the description. So people go and check y'all out.
Yeah.
Oh, there go a quick preview to something I've been working on called Starfall.
Oh shit, play that.
Oh, this just a picture. Yeah, that's just a picture. But this is one of the trippy scenes that occurs during the story. Cause like the story is the tall tale of the story, not to get into the details. The star is cruising, gets knocked down. What'd you say?
Digital books where you don't actually make a physical copy of it, but you make like a digital book, and it has like the story that goes along to the.
I was going to convert that into this when it was finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, since I have all the artwork done.
Or basically moving CGI stuff, but then you just kind of have like the story that goes along with it.
I tried that with my last book, but now I'm a lot better with it.
I was telling Theo to get in contact with you because he has a story.
Oh, we gotta bring it to life like a genie.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Starfall, it's about the star that falls. I mean, yeah, Starfall, star that falls. He's traveling, doing what he do, and then he falls to this planet where it's a bunch of squares, and he forgets his memory. He gets knocked out, forgets his memory, and then he starts seeing that the squares having a bunch of fun, and he's like, I want to be a square too. And the story starts playing out.
You know what's so dope about a square though? Like if you add 3 squares together, you can make a star.
Who? Is you reading the folklore already? That's gonna have a lot of twists and turns that we all like encountered in our experiences. I'm bringing it all together into like a new fashion.
But you know what I mean though, Ty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Best Crayon, know any beats? Oh, I'm trying to look up one.
My headphone.
Oh, I see it now.
You gonna tell us the season 1 episode?
Trying to get you the episode.
Starfall?
I mean, you ain't giving out spoilers like that.
No, not yet. It's gonna come. I'm working on a trailer right now too. It's gonna have a trailer and everything. An animated trailer. Original music. But hey, it's thinking about music while I'm looking for this beat. Like music is very, very cool to me. Like I got stuck up before I did the show listening to some songs, and I was like, hold up. I gotta travel to this reality real quick. Like, it's just straight up portals. I didn't see
something about
people there
that
in the
music.
chat.
It's something about that music, man.
Yeah, music will put you in a place even when you're not high. It could transport you to a
I used to hear that a lot in comments. I used to feel like that when I was younger. I used to think I was smoking weed and sipping lean.
You ever listen to a song and it made you cry?
All the time.
Yesterday.
What song was that?
It was the
good music. That's some good music right there.
It was one of the it was actually one song by Arca. It was like just straight instrumentals, wasn't even words to it.
Oh, that's dope, bro.
and, then, and then it was a weekend song.
Frequencies.
I wish we could play that without some copyright in there, but I'm gonna check it out though.
Now it's gonna be one time on the show where I'm not gonna like. I'm gonna see what happens if I don't care for one show, and just take the copyright as long as they don't strike me. I got 3 to
Don't
spare.
even risk the strike. Don't risk it.
Yeah, I got enough other stuff that's risky.
You're right. Never know.
Oh, who knows?
You know, to pull one of those get out of jail free card.
Yeah. What was the last song that took you to a place?
Yeah. Let me see. It was like this. Yeah, it's been a while too. It's been a long time. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I don't
It's been a
listen to music
while.
as I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to love music. Now it's just whatever sparks my interest.
And it was more like a literally he was trying to paint it to you so you would be there type shit. He was telling a story basically.
Who sang it?
Who?
I think it was like Speaker Knockers, and it was like Rico's story. It was like three parts of it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was a movie playing in my head because I was hella high and shit. And I was listening to it, and then it was it was super visual. I'm like, all right, it was dope. But that was hella long ago.
And still, you said that the music doesn't hit you like it did a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, the music used to really resonate more, and now it doesn't so much.
Do you choose the music that is played, or is it like played around you?
Well, when I was younger, I used to choose the music, but now, like whatever I listen to is just stuff I hear. Like I don't go out of my way to buy music or listen to anything specific.
Gotcha. Do you listen to instrumentals?
No, but my dad kind of got me into something on I don't know if it was Hulu. I don't know what it's on, but I think it's on YouTube. It was just like um a bunch of artists in like a colored room, like foreign artists. I forget what it's called, but you know the guy who does tainow.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. He got some weird name.
I think his name is like Masiago or Mygo or something.
You was watching the Tiny Desk concert?
No, but I've seen that too. It's in a little library.
Yeah, I was thinking of Small Spaces.
Yeah, something like that. But it's different. It's like in like a pink room with just a microphone coming from the ceiling, or it'll be a blue room. Each artist has a different color room, and they're either doing, I don't know, a cappella or whatever. But it's really good. It's like that. It kind of made me want to start listening to music again, because I feel like what's on the radio is so repetitive and so low vibrational. Like it kind of like steered me away from music.
It's done on purpose. I was listening to A$AP Rocky interview, and the one song I didn't like called of his called "Fucking Problems" that everybody else like. I found out he don't like that song either, and he said he only did it because at the time he said, yeah, at that time I thought like you gotta get a song with 2 Chainz or you gotta get a song with this person. But I was like, I was just doing it for this, but like I don't really like performing it. But now I do nowadays. But they didn't know what they doing sometimes. But he's like, I want to stay as an individual and create my own kind of music.
it's interesting the way music works because there will be a song that I'll hear and I'll be like, this is trash. How did this get on the radio? And then literally a month later, I know every word, and I kind of like it when it's coming on. And it's because repetition is like the easiest way to infiltrate the subconscious mind.
Yep, it's the father of learning. You gonna learn it no matter what.
Exactly.
Like I told you. Yeah.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.
It'd be the worst song too. Like, remember that song, work, 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 work. Oh my
Yep.
God, I hated that song.
You just had me type it in. That's how I be sometimes. I be trying to, if I'm trying to type something or write something and people talking, I'll write exactly what that thought was, or I'm like, wait, that's.
I just did that this morning. Because I'm like, this is some mind control shit. They just want us to work, 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 work till we die.
But music too. That's what made me not like a lot of music for that reason. And something I've been diving into was like, why would like not like somebody that's trying to be a clone, but like somebody like Jennifer, not I was about to say Jennifer Lopez, the Michael Jackson's sister,
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson. Like why she would make I think she got a call song. Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm thinking of Britney Spears. Britney Spears got a song called Slave. And how people like talk about how they real into the thing they are in the song, but it's really always coming from a different place. But they're celebrating it, and they're like, yeah, these people celebrating all of this, all of this pain and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but it's where we are though. Yeah, it's like trying to show a little light to it at times. Like, because sometimes I know some people that's on the exact opposite spectrum where they're not comfortable with experiencing certain feelings. Like, oh, I'll never want to experience like wanting this thing too much or being like this. So like, they take the opportunity to be that person real fast. That entity of like, oh, archetype of whatever that concept is. And the ones that live it out the most. And even if they faking it, like that ain't really what I do. Like I saw Doja Cat, she had a song called I Don't Do Drugs. I was like, yeah, right. I like the song though. It's called Don't Do Drugs by Getting High Off of You or something like that.
I like her.
But yeah, finding music and stuff, I think would be a cool thing. I mean, it's a cool thing for me. I'm in the car a lot. And even when I'm here, I'll just be playing random music. Because I don't like when stuff is just playing either. Or I do sometimes, even with the algorithm, it says learning me and stuff. Sometimes it just be hitting triggers of what I'm used to feeling. I'm like, all right. Let's do something else. I think it's like all up to the control that you want to exercise. Cause there's music out there. There's a lot of music I'll be running into like weekly.
Yeah, but you gotta seek it though. You gotta seek it.
It used to, in the past, well, whatever the past is, when I would come back from a mushroom experience, I will always like I'll be suggested this new song I never heard before. And it seemed like it was like the perfect song. Well, it was the perfect song. Fit with lifestyle, I was able to transport my visions into it and stuff like that. I was like, oh, and then I'll be stuck listening to it for 2 years.
Yeah. Done that naturally.
Yeah, it coincides. It goes back and forth.
I do that with movies too, and I didn't realize I was doing that. I really didn't.
Did you watch Shrek?
Yo, Shrek was on repeat for at least 2 months. Okay. I'm not lying either. I've watched things, I've put it on repeat. because at one point when I had my kitten and I went to work, not this one, another one, I used to leave Finding Nemo, but Finding Nemo was on my skip repeat thing, right? I was going through something like that was my movie. So I didn't realize it also entertained the kitten. So cool. It was cool. Yeah.
Hey, 2 souls, one movie.
I just went. I spoke to Regal. And they said on their page, not even a general to click on.
Oh.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing at all to like. They're in an abyss somewhere.
All right, I'm gonna get that all figured out.
I put in the.
Tell him I apologize. What'd you say?
For the muses. The thing I was talking about before with the colored room, it's called Colors.
Oh, I watched a couple of these. And they gotta sing it live too.
Mhm.
But wait, let me not play it. No, they real nice because they selection of artists is not people that will readily be picked for the radio, but people that's like hitting different sensors.
Exactly. Right. These are all new people, new artists. You've never heard of them.
And they come dressed too.
Mhm. The sound is amazing. And it's not like this loud video, so you can focus on the music and not, the distraction of the video.
And everything is always just on time. Like even for new artists to not have to rewrite themselves to be on the radio. And even with streaming platforms, it's getting past that because people getting gypped on. People making some money on streaming, but a lot of people not. So like now it's becoming more of an ownership thing with the blockchain technology. Has to improve, but where is that now? You can like own everything and distribute it yourself.
Mhm.
I was watching Snoop Dogg. He was talking about how he brought back Death Row after being on Death Row, and he wanted to get back his masters. And they was telling him how much it cost. And he's like, whoa, we gonna come back. And then he came back and did some business plans later, and then came back and actually brought his masters and all his friends' masters, and got all it back. So it was showing me something about like just the holding on to what you create, and like the meaning, the value of seeing the value of what you created, because like all that music he created made all they music that they created to producers too, like created cultures.
Right.
To this day. So now that we moving into valuing ourselves and actually seeing what that value actually is based off of how I'm just tying things together based off of how other people were using it before, like with the record companies and with religion, like saying this is how you do this is how you work the magic, or you got to come through this if you want to get closer to God, or if you want to feel like a star, you got to come to Hollywood, you got to do this and that. And now more on the low end spectrum, like kind of where I'm at, more tools are more accessible to people like me to make what used to be hard more easy. So I'll be thanking the ones that paved the way.
Yeah, you gotta give them props.
If they even exist. Sorry. Just playing. But no, the ins and out of reality is when I play like that. Like if things exist or if they not exist, like I'll just be playing on, especially when I'm talking on a show and stuff like that. And and in person. If you catch me in person, it'd be the same way too. You'll probably just think I was joking, but I'm serious. But like where the ins and out of reality. Like where do you think our thoughts? I mean, I already said thoughts, but where does reality begin and where does reality end? Like, can you
That's something
pinpoint the beginning?
No, I have no idea. Theo and I were talking about this earlier. We were looking up the words real and reality and true and fact. And I think we've come to the conclusion that truth is an illusion and real is an illusion too. Like reality is an illusion. So there's no such thing as, you know, the beginning or the end. It just is.
An illusion is a illusion.
An illusion is an illusion.
Somebody had to cast it. Cast the illusion.
I'm recasting it all the time.
But yeah, it's funny. I'm tying it together what Yuel was saying earlier about how the loops exist in different people and different levels and civilization, and how you'll hear people saying the same thing depending on like what loop they caught in.
Yeah, yeah.
So if what I was tying that together with is if somebody say that something is what you're saying real, like if something is real, then what they're calling is real is the loop that they're caught up in, or like what they're calling truth is the loop that they're caught up in the moment.
Right, exactly. Because anything can be real for anyone. Like a schizophrenic can feel that the person that's talking to them, the invisible person talking to them, is real. We may not, but to them they do. So real is objective. It's everyone determines it. Each
Hey, that thing grew wings, yeah. Hey, when you dive into the mind of the schizophrenic and what schizophrenic means, even on a huge spectrum of it, it surprised me a while ago, because I used to think that like people was making up stuff.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's just like what they going through. Or I don't even think I put that much thought into it. But when I did, because I had Christianity build up, so I probably thought it was like a demon or something like that, or some kind of. I always had that kind of inkling with some kind of spirit or something like that. I guess I did. But then, like, I started switching when I got older. I was like, nah, these people crazy. And then it like
No.
mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, did you have any experiences that have you done mushrooms before? Like a big dose?
No, I've never done a really big dose.
Or enough to change what was around you?
No, nothing. I mean, like the wall started to melt a little bit, but that was it.
Gotcha.
But I was gonna say that I was watching schizophrenic people on YouTube, and basically what they're describing is the same thing that people who take mushroom doses and DMT trips describe. Like they describe gestures and all these other kind of very specific, like the like Shiva, and they see the Indian deities and stuff.
Did you run across this guy that draws them? Draws his hallucinations?
No, no.
I ran across a couple, but I started following him as his art pieces was real cool. But you totally I'll send it to you.
Okay.
He draws them like on a tablet.
I think he just
Or does he draw them on paper? It's like on a computer tablet, and is
he does
talking
both.
about them?
Yeah, he does, and there is black and white. He doesn't use color.
I saw this one guy drawing on a tablet and talking about his experiences. But there was this one guy that did like a documentary on. I'm not sure if he was schizophrenic or if he was taking DMT, but he said he was trying to draw his images. Yeah, there's been a few people I've seen now who are artists.
Think of who Picasso was, or,
A
or
lot
Da
of the artists
Vinci.
though, it's not DMT, it's LSD that they've used because the LSD is so long of an experience.
That's what tripped me out after my acid experience. I was just looking at. I found one of my old art books, and I wanted to bring one of them to like a different kind of life through like a 3D concept. I was gonna make that a video idea or something. But when searching through, I had found a picture I drew of one of my trying to recall one of my acid trips of looking at the sun and all the colors and how the sun was in like the perfect position and the lighting and stuff. And I looked at it, it was just like pencil drawings. But that's when I was real on. I was microdosing acid and everything back then.
But you will realize the different layers of your art ability by how fast
There
you
it
can
is.
account ideas. Not just sometimes it takes you more time, and then sometimes it takes you you can't get down the idea like you want to. But as you grow, you get faster and the ability to put down more of the idea that you want. Same
No,
thing with like rapping, anything, all art.
all art. You just got to do it. You got to put yourself out there to develop the skill. And that skill is like more than what people think because it involves the mind and everything and
That's
spirits
what
and
you learn, not to just get caught up in loops, like how normal reality happens with normal people. But you learn to like use loops to build what we call skill or experience.
Hey, I heard Joe Rogan say that he was talking about how he learned from a comedian to talk about the muse and to like he used to give a little prayer to the muse before every comedy show. And he said, man, it's something about it. Like if you really just believe that it's there and exists, that it's going to
Well,
make some changes. I do it all the time.
Yeah, we've given that name muse to it, but that essence that is like a part of creation. It kind of gives like the standing, a new like a new flow, especially in how it integrates into you in that situation most of the time.
Yeah, start unlocking puzzles. Like I would say, unlocking puzzle pieces. I'm thinking like the Millennium Puzzle in Yu-Gi-Oh. He solved the puzzle and the spirit popped up. They was able to do things in certain situations, like win the game or save his friends.
Yeah.
Watch that later. Oh, but yeah, we was talking about schizophrenics and I mean not but the word schiz and mushrooms and connections and stuff like that. Yeah, they're really close. And yeah, all of it. Because after my mushroom trips, Stu, I was able to understand like people like my uncle that was like people will call schizophrenic and other people that was described to me in certain ways. I was like, oh. He like even if it was ways like I see the loop that they in, even if I don't really know it for myself because they got their personal journey and stuff. Like I see how it could get like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you seeing something that nobody else is seeing.
Especially if it wasn't described to you. Or it was described to you to be something else that you wasn't comfortable with. And you're like, but I think it's this. That's a big thing.
I notice a lot of times they come up with these. It's got to be just like what one would perceive as just some type of mental madness. But a lot of these things I think are just layers of how reality is anyway, and then how we can perceive through these different layers. Because when we're looking at anything and hearing everything, we're not actually getting the images that we project back out and then play our reality into. We're getting just like a whole bunch of energy patterns and formations that are always kind of entangling with us. And just because certain ones aren't actually on our always aware spectrum, because of how we're mammals too, and we integrate here, we would probably only integrate with ones and become aware of ones mostly through our sensory organs, of the ones that are like, gonna always do something to you physically.
Because we
So it's
think we
like,
so smart.
yeah, it's like you think you're smart until you like become aware that, I was just in a fishbowl in somebody's room. And you get out of that fishbowl and you're like, oh, this is a whole room, a whole world is out here. And then you get out of that world and you're like in another fishbowl. But this is how the different layers kind of are on our senses. If we could kind of see in ultraviolet, we see a whole bunch more things. If we could see in infrared and other spectrums are just the electromagnetic frequencies that we know, let alone other mental frequencies. Like you were
Yeah, I was
saying
gonna get
earlier,
on
what can
that.
frequency the mind think on? Like, what if the mind's frequency is just that we're thinking on human frequency right now? So this is what we see. And as soon as you switch it to something else, you start to see something else.
Right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting because the perception of people when they even say that they're rock stars or they this and that, they people say, "Oh, you come from another world. You're an alien. You come from this," and then the best of them say, "Like I'm just a human being." But then when you get into their lives, their perceptions of how they operate their life is like, oh, they perceive in other realms at different moments of time.
Yeah. Yeah, like the muse thing too. Like that essence that they say that they're kind of giving a little call to is them doing a little tuning on to it, calling it
Yeah.
down or whatever, you know.
Whatever ritual you can come up with.
Yeah. I was also watching this thing with the Flatlanders, 3-dimensional beings and 4-dimensional beings. Like, we always want to think that a 4-dimensional being would always have to be in like that one place too, like how we would have to be in one place at one time. But by being a thing that can be all around and through, and then kind of like the shadow, you can put your shadow in multiple places. It could probably do something similar, on a whole nother level. So when one person says, "Oh, but no, you couldn't have been talking," or "You don't have the muse, I have the muse," or "I have this essence with me, you can't have that essence with you," or like, "I'm the Messiah now, I have the essence of the Messiah with me, you
Nah.
can't have the Messiah." But it's like this essence can be so, enfolded into our existence that anything can have it at the time, even a stone. Is all it is to be tuned into at the time. Like all the radios can be on whatever radio channel.
That's how we
Like
come
just
up with all
because
these
you're on it.
cartoons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. Like the different imaginations and characters. A lot of these characters, if you like realize them, like and like connect with them, a lot of times these people don't actually even like they look up stuff for like a certain layer of the character. Like how they're gonna guise them and wear certain clothes. But if you look under like all that like character layers and stuff like that, the story that they're telling is still of the beyond. It's that inner story that is happening on the inside of everyone. Just put out into like Star Wars, Bugs Bunny. Even like I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and they were basically caught up in a Wile E. Coyote um, Roadrunner situation, where they're constantly trying to be Wile E. Coyote, trying to catch Roadrunner.
And then kept getting mad at the beep beep.
Yeah, they get mad at Roadrunner, but it's really themselves and all the they're relying on Acme and all the different instead of doing what Roadrunner does, just run, and a lot of times just be free, because that's why Roadrunner is capable of like running off the cliff without falling down. He's freed himself from certain beliefs. And these things are like on a metaphysical many times level, so it's not really like they're talking about you'll just run off a cliff just because you don't want, you don't believe in gravity, but you can free yourself from the beliefs, and then you'll, be, enlightened, and not just the bright light, but feel lighter.
Mhm.
All the way. That's what the Road Runner was. I'm thinking of some people that got the Road Runner tattoo. I'm like, they knew.
Meep's a mantra.
Sit there in the corner going, meet. Just put it on loop. I'll make a 5-hour loop. It'll get you somewhere. You just gotta let it.
It's like the coyote is the police, and you're the road runner getting away from them every time.
Where have I heard that, Meep? I think there was a guy who used to have that as his horn. I think his horn could switch though, because I think it also did that end of the road Looney Tunes.
It's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Like, but it was just the sound of it.
Porky Pig.
Yeah, but Porky Pig's voice wouldn't be there. It'd just be the sound of the ending of the show.
I was just looking at the clone that I made of that yesterday. I was looking at an old skit that I made about when the fan found out you taking magic mushrooms, and then like I had the Looney Tunes outro. I had my face in there with a mushroom or something like that.
Yeah, that's what happens though. Like salvia or good mushroom does too, when you realize that you're on the stage and everybody else is fake, playing these characters that they forgot that they're kind of in the role. Well, they haven't forgot. They're like playing the role so good that they won't stop playing no matter what you do. It's like, but you'll get to that state and it's like, you'll go backstage after that. It's like, oh yeah, you can't be on the stage right now if you're gonna kind of keep messing with the characters.
Yeah, it's something on in comedy called the Green Room. And they always talk about how the green room is where all the comedians get together. They be getting at each other. Like, that's where they have, like, kind of the most fun before they get up on the stage. I be like, yo, that's the kind of people I want to just be around. Like, people I can go to the green room with.
That's like I think that's why the jester, or we call the jester place, people come across that so much, because there seems to be certain realms that are closer than others. Like, and one of them seems to be like a part of that circus.
All part of that circus.
It's like
roller coaster.
Far to get to that circus, or tune to wherever that circus is. Yeah, and also like what you were saying with the back room, like the beyond or the between. I mean, it's kind of like always there too. But usually I've never encountered anything like a jester in the between. You'll get like weird creature type things, but never anything that's like a jester.
Same here.
Yeah, I've encountered like the jesters in like their own realm, or them kind of breaking into this one. Usually because they do that pattern control. They seem to be really good at that, whatever that pattern thing is. That overlaying that pattern onto things and then using it to kind of alter it.
Like engulfing that thing into an infinite thing and then reconstructed it.
Yeah. The tree was telling me about what that pattern does, though. It's hard to explain. But it's like this thing that kind of shifts in space and time for how we perceive it. Because it was telling me how it could drop the leaf, or how it knows it's going to drop the leaf by the pattern. And I didn't understand what it was talking about until it showed me what it was talking about. And it's like this, like triangles that make hexagons. Like
they got me.
Weird, like, grid.
I was thinking about 3D programming. but then it had slipped
It's kind of
away.
like but that's what it reminds me of. Like that's
Mm.
what it reminded me of. Like polygons. Everything went like polygon. Yeah. Yeah, I realize why a lot of people call this thing a simulation when they see it at certain layers. But if they see it at other layers, they'd realize it's way more complex than any simulation that a computer is projecting.
Yeah, because it
Because
can
it's like
switch
doing,
up on a dime.
yeah, it's also doing like certain types of like emotional like plays and like multi-layer like situational adjustments. Yeah, and you know that synchronicity thing too is like how it can kind of like alter in like point perspective situational adjustments. So it can show you something from a point perspective and then no one else will see it.
Straight up. And then you go around and people say, "Well, that's just what you saw." It's like, yeah, I did.
But
Or
then it
some
can also do
people
it
say,
for
I
multiple
don't
groups
know.
of people and then show them all a different thing from a different point perspective. So it's like an essence of light is standing in the room. One person sees an angel, one person sees their father, one person sees somebody they used to know in school, you know. It's
It
like
appears as it needs to them.
yeah.
I was just thinking about Evangelion at the end when they were all about to become one, and before they regular body popped, they
Yeah.
the person came to them as a person that they like loved or cherished or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, what was that? Dead Space. You know, Dead Space, that's basically what the artifact is.
I didn't
A
watch it
one
enough, but yeah, what's it
if you
about?
played the game or watched
Mm-hmm.
the TV show, I mean I think there's like a few animes of it. But that's what that artifact does. It's like some kind of twisted version of oneness that the aliens had designed and then it like took over them and like made them all into basically one of them obelisks. And then anybody who reads that message from that thing basically takes that message and like tries to make that oneness the design again, but they're trying to perfect it each time. Yeah. And all the scientists have this problem where they believe that they can perfect it better than the last. So there's usually like it's like caught up in like that mental virus thing where if if one person has it, then it's going to be spread to another one who just comes in contact with them after a while.
Then the
And I
monkey
think it's spread
mind
through the
just
prison
latches
system.
on.
Yeah. Well, it's not even the monkey mind. It's just I think it's
Oh,
the
they're higher.
mind. Yeah.
I was thinking about Evangelion again, and the higher up causing the third extinction
Yeah.
of humankind, the Human Instrumentality Project, using the humans as instruments to bring about a new form of consciousness, or a former
it's not just
form.
like yeah. But that's basically what the universe basically is done anyway.
I
Humans
don't
were
blame it.
an experiment, to bring form a new layer of consciousness or awareness of its own existence.
That's what
Like
made that third Evangelion so cool, because the dad was like professing all of this, and I was like, just had the eye to not see him as the villain. Like, yo, he did. Listen what he's
because
saying.
we always want to look for the villain as this thing
Mm-hmm.
that's doing like this good or bad thing, but a lot of times in these like a lot of
Most of the time.
it gets to a point where it's not really a good or bad guy thing. It's like they're going for something that is so beyond the level that is good and bad doesn't even stand on it anymore. It's like where they're going to touch now is what we would call God, and good and bad comes out of this thing.
You touching right on the movie too. The dad didn't. This the only last spoiler I'm gonna say for it. But he didn't even have eyes anymore. Like he had like this glowing red orb in his face, and he was like talking about the gods and souls in a massive scale of not really about the individual. Like, oh well, maybe I still want to go to work today or go to the park and not become one.
Think about pulling everything out of the karmic situational loop. Of existence. No more, wheel of life. something that is so great, it's so powerful that it ends all that. But what about my bills? What about my children? Like, oh yeah, all that's going to be merged into everything. Yeah, but what about this? What about that? It's like, yeah, but that's all a part of everything anyway. So it's like, yeah, it's like it goes way beyond all that what we would call our individual, you know, and it pulls it back to that all level. It's kind of like on the experience when you hit that point where you like many times what is the ego kind of breaks down and it has to become that thing that is way beyond itself. And it's like the individual ego has only it can only be that grain of sand on the beach. It can no longer consider itself, I am the grain of sand, I am the sand, I am the individual sand. All you can do now is be the beach.
Yeah. Like, where are you?
Yeah. It's like, which sand was I? Which
Start building up the reality right there.
Yeah.
Now, that's how all these things work. Building on top of each other.
And
Sometimes.
then also, you get to those layers too, where, well, that's why I think too, you get that like Shiva Shakti layer, where it's like you're not just this. You realize when you're at that beach, you're the sand and that water that's always kind of moving the sand around and kind of changing how this grain of sand was over here before, but now it's 1,000 miles away on another beach. Like how people feel that they were once this being here over here in this existence, now they're way over there
Floated to
doing
this
this
star
on another.
system.
Yeah. The ether wave can take you, the grain of sand, so far. And, you might not be worn away by that, through that passing, especially if you were really crystallized in your existence.
Like, I need the
So,
sun to hit me this way while I'm on the beach.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. You can have like these memories of it used to be like this. I remember when I used to be on my world and it was like this, or we used to do this, but it was like, we always think we'd be a human before in our existence, but who knows what you could have been or could be.
I know people always saying I feel trapped, or I wish I should be able to do this. And sometimes they get ankling, and probably a couple generations down the line, don't know what's gonna happen, or another reality right on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. See, in reality too, we want to think too. A lot of times it's like it's just like we have to do what society's always making us, but by doing that your own story many times, you get to really make yourself and alter the other, around you. It's like that, the reflection thing. You get that pass the reflection, do the reflection, then by the time, if you ever get back to that beach again, it's so changed and it has kind of like your impression on it. I think that's why people try to do that legacy thing when they get to a certain set of mind, where it's not really the time that they're in now, but something that they're trying to leave in the world so that they can come back into the world as a new
being in that world they created.
Yeah.
Like witnessing it from a fresh perspective. Like, all right, I'm in it now.
Maybe like the Wrights brothers dying and coming back to fly on like 747s or flying jet planes. Like,
All the way.
I remember we dropped this idea on the place. Now we's in spaceships. But who knows what kind of weird world they may have come from before that. Like,
Yeah,
we used to fly on the world where we came from. What the hell are y'all doing down here?
No, that's how it feels. That's why I see it. I was posting that technology of the guy flying the drone that you can sit inside. So it's like he just whoop. I was like, yo, the inventors of this was on something else. Well, they was
Stuff
from
that
other
you
places.
Kind of, feel like it was natural to you before it was even an idea here. before you even saw it in a cartoon. And that's why the cartoon resonated with you so much. Yeah.
I think that's where they get that idea in horror movies and things when they talk about the vampires or the real magical families that really know how to practice it. They got their family lineage and they remember who they are and stuff like that, as opposed to the person just figuring it out.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
like
what
that can
all
connect
that
to these realities.
Emerald Tablets is all about. That's all it's teaching. How to basically crystallize yourself in some type of form and learn to kind of travel what he was calling the halls of Amenti, so that you could keep yourself, well, basically be the grain of sand so solidified that you don't get worn down on the reincarnation, or leave
Just
certain things in this world that would trigger you. That's what the monks would use, like certain items that you would leave behind,
oh yeah, then when
kind
they
of
a
like
kid, go and find them.
you know that also is in whatchamacallit, Harry Potter,
Uh huh.
Horcrux, a Horcrux, a certain item that
Horcrux.
has a certain amount of your essence left inside of it, or a certain thing that can trigger a certain amount of your essence left inside of it. And when you see that item or come in contact with it again, even through, it'll kind of make you, a part of you, come back. Or
Yeah.
like how synchronicity sometimes do the same, mental triggers.
Hey, I was just listening to a Biggie Small song with an unreleased verse. I said, after all this time, they had Ty Dolla $ign on it. I was like, wow, it was cool. It was definitely like him. It wasn't no AI they made
Have
up,
you ever gone back
or
and
I don't
watched a
know.
movie that you swore you've seen so many times, and then you realize there's a part in that movie that wasn't there before?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I've been rewatching movies for the past couple years.
Because the way your mind, especially in certain ages, it's like these triggers too can also be time sync. So even if you see it in another time, it won't sync to make a resonant trigger until the time that it's supposed to. Kind of like a weird passcode that has to be in the right space and time for it to actually work.
And then like, oh, this movie changed my life. When
Yeah.
it finally do.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. And that's how we work the magic as magicians. In that book, The Magicians, I was reading, it will talk about how by the third book, he was like a real higher level magician, traveling realms, meeting different gods and stuff like that. But he was talking about the different magicians that will like be practicing spells, and like they spells will become a whole reality and stuff like that. But it was just like them practicing or doing mischief or
But
just playing
even
around.
beyond that, you alter this layer. So it's not on this layer that you kind of alter this layer, because on this layer many times you are, what being you are.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
are
through
it.
yeah, you're playing this role in here. It's like trying to get Mario to hack the game that he's in. What you do is you
Like,
become the character that is playing that character and hack that world from beyond that world.
you're like,
Or
don't
you
you know all
become
I know
the
how to say
player.
is Mario?
Yeah, it's like, like, oh, I know, I'm just picking my nose, gonna throw fireballs, like, come on, dude. It's
I
then what you
mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, then what you do is like, it's like how you say you write the story. You, by writing these certain stories, you're building another layer into the whole existence of mind, and by in that layer you can alter certain layers in this layer,
Just like
especially if that.
Mott in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know how in mods, when you make a mod that can really syncs with a whole bunch of people have that mod, that it ends up the whole game can kind of be adjusted because of that mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing was like that. Yeah,
It's the same idea, just had to get through some way.
yeah. But this is the way I've noticed a whole lot of these things in sync with each other. Like, there's nothing that we've made up that isn't really a part of this whole world. It's just it's hard to figure out sometimes what we made up and how it entangles a
Yeah.
lot of the belief systems and like even game theory. If you learn game theory, just go like watch a couple YouTube videos on what game theory is,
I know
and
what you mean.
it's gonna hit you with a whole lot of hold on, that's this world.
In that game of life, I used to have that on my tablet. That was before I did psychedelics, and I was like doing a lot of research on stuff, just interested. And I downloaded the game on the tablet. I got to play around with different configurations, starting it from this point, seeing the little floaters going across, merge with this, and seeing some create a little spaceship.
Yeah, I used to like those type of different algorithm buildups. Then they have ones that you could build in different types of where you could adjust in different types of tit for tat and different types of methods so that they go at each other with.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube videos about it. I didn't do that myself though. But it's all showing the same story.
Yeah. You'll actually see how they kind of become certain types of insects here, certain types of animal groups here. It's just that they're doing it like they're not a lion or whatever, but they're still playing that same lion role.
Hey, it was there on the selection menu.
Well, no, not even if it's not like there was this one where you were building it basically from like viruses, basically, and the way that these viruses would start to act, they're basically that's what they look like. Basically, just certain sprites on the screen that devour other sprites. The long sprites and the short sprites. The long sprites are allowed to like form into certain types of links, and the short sprites are allowed to form into certain types of links. But the way that they'd end up like becoming like bees, they'd start acting like bees. Certain ones would start acting like ants. They wouldn't like take a lot of their energy up to kind of spread out and kind of do the wandering. They do the lining and only send off small amounts to kind of do the wandering. Even though the bees ones would kind of do this certain like pattern flying, but they'd actually become certain animals. You could tell by this is how this mental trait came about, or certain adaptations would come about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because patterns, it's always showed me that in different experiences as well, but certain patterns always build up into certain overlayments. That's the word for it. It's like if you take like a certain amount of squares and you like take like a clear layer and you put it on there and then you draw those certain squares on that, you'll start to see cubes and other shapes underneath it, especially if you shift it in a certain way. And then these different layers of patterns and how you shift the different layers of patterns and how they keep morphing through, form of what we call evolution. It's like on the different mental layers and on the different physical layers. Different patterns kind of overlaying on top of each other. Sometimes you wouldn't even perceive a certain layer because that layer is being so obstructed by other layers that like say in DNA, what we would call junk DNA is a whole bunch of this obstructed
that's a lie.
It's basically just data that is a whole bunch of data that be like it could grow you like fur out of nowhere, you make you look like a cheetah, form you wings. It's a whole bunch of data that's in there, but the way that it's obstructed in a way that you just come out looking like a human.
Once the gene splicing get there, it's the show on Netflix that's like that.
Yeah, that's what's next. Yeah, sooner or later they'll figure out how to adjust these patterns, and they'll realize they don't need to put these things in you. They just need to kind of adjust them out of you.
Yeah. Hey, it was this old Japanese game I had on the tablet, and it consisted of this entity that traveled from different realities and worlds, but they kidnapped people from different worlds to battle each other at some point, and it was all about genetics. and then like they was restarting genetics and planting seeds and splicing genetics on different worlds to like give them different powers and see what's going on with them, like tampering with it. So on the lower scales, same thing.
But yeah, actually, yeah, if you think about it, that's kind of what our world is always doing. If you look at the bigger picture, it's like been doing these like genetic wars. Like,
Yeah, our
okay,
DNA been
let's take.
changing so much. They calling us Homo sapiens and like other
Yeah, I'm not even
so-called
sure if
humans
it
different
started
things.
with two though. It's like I think like the mushrooms or funguses that were here at first kind of started off all on the same side, but it's kind of like that thing that we were saying earlier. Me and Creator, I think, were saying earlier. Like this one group will break off into another group, and then that group will break off into another group, and I think Big Chill brought it up with the aliens too. But after these things have broken off into so many groups, they start fighting each other because they're fighting over the same resources, and they no longer realize that they're really from the same establishment.
To
And
this
by the
day.
time they've evolved into something big again, they're like fighting itself on the world. So you have deer being running from the lion, even though they kind of evolved out of the exact same thing.
It's all just atoms. Just being
That's because
changed
they
and
look so
manipulated.
different. Once they look so different, like even iguanas from like a different island that got super big or something, they'll treat the
Yeah.
small iguanas different and probably like take over every time they see them, even though they know they are of the same thing. They'll still take over their whole,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's like you just said with atoms, it may have actually started with just how the mind is built into like how it's atoms and protons and neutrons and stuff have been doing the same thing. Like, we're
Yeah.
hydrogen over here. Clustering up over here to do this.
That was always the best way too to learn science. Like if you ever get that tuned, like the best science was taught the funnest way, because it like it interacts you with the conscious of what's going on. Like it has a personality.
Look at the personality. That's what I was just gonna say. It has a personality.
It may seem made up for the book, but when you really like trying to learn it and get into it, it helps you like learn it because you tapping into the imagination somewhat.
Yeah, like the letters on Sesame Street are alive. Like the letter A. There was one letter that was stealing stuff. He was a robber, I think.
Been the B one.
Beaten in the alley because you black. No, but he was well, Sesame Street's actually one of those places where it's kind of like that, like in that subconscious or in that dream world where monsters aren't really bad if you learn to talk to them. They may be grumpy, but they're not really bad, and everything's kind of alive.
Yeah, they did try to pull that off as much as they can.
I guess
with their puppets.
Well, he comes from that time.
The puppet time.
Really good and tripping high, really good in the 70s.
Oh yeah, that too. He made that other puppet show.
I can't do cartoons, but look at this sock puppet, Joe. Look at this sock puppet. I put a long nose on it, and I painted this one green.
And then he just repeat one of his trip stories through the puppets. On his experience. This is what I'm doing.
This pig is in love with the frog. You know he was tripping back then because everybody thought he was crazy. Like, what do you mean the pig's in love with the frog? Yeah, that's the story. The pig is in love with the frog, and the frog's best friend's a bear. And
the pig has an attitude.
This alien who's in a relationship with a chicken. And what was it? Animal?
Right, hold on. Why's this?
Yeah. They're all in a band with this guy named Animal. He doesn't speak.
1 second.
You know.
I'm gonna give my phone to somebody real quick.
Who else is on that show? Plus, they got Big Bird in them, which this is this more trippiness. But I think a lot of that stuff is about how to take trip stories and kind of break it down to kids level, so kids can kind of grow up into a world where they're gonna have these stories as well.
Yeah, that's why I always seen that they don't take too much credit for their work because they know they like playing the long term game, and it's like something bigger than their persona at the time, or like their persona at the time is like playing this bigger archetype in order to get the message out and change the world.
Yeah. They want to kind of have it seen as that thing instead of themselves.
Cut this Bluetooth. There it is.
So much so is even if you do remember their name, that's all you really remember their name for too. It's like, yeah, he was the puppet guy.
Yeah, and then it's the essence of the puppet guy, yeah. Like that could be in anybody.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Hey," this message said, "Hey."
It's like the whatchamacallit too. Pinocchio. Pinocchio goes at it from the other way around though. Instead of being the puppet maker, you are the boy who is a puppet. You gotta kind of learn to cut your strings and don't become a jackass. I wonder what the whale represents. Kind of maybe like depression.
Yeah, they all out there, the deep blue, but they still. Yeah. They say they sing songs though, but the blues.
But remember in that story, they used to put that in a lot of stories. People being swallowed by a whale and taken deep underneath the sea, but they would still be alive in this kind of trapped.
Yep, Jonah and the whale and all of them. It was always took them through an introspective trip, and that usually comes through melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah.
Melancholy.
Yeah.
So probably not depression, but like melancholy.
That's why I said it so fast. It came to me the other day. I was walking by the pond. And I was thinking about a certain word, and melancholy came up. Melancholy.
It's a different brand of sadness.
Yeah. There's a song, Melancholy something.
It's a whole band that I used to listen to called Him from Finland. And they like genre themselves as love metal, but the whole definition of themselves is like melancholic music. I remember when I first ran across the word as well. Well, not the first, probably wasn't your first time, but I ran across it a couple years ago.
Like what do they call them? The Great Hunt or whatever. The ones that wear the horns and stuff like that, and the old skins.
I'm not sure off of the hunt.
Because I know it's a lot of those bands, those Northland bands, now are doing that older, trying to do the Viking kind of calling, but they're not. They play the shamanic role of the Vikings. Got what they call them. Everybody calls them shaman now.
Exile probably know.
Well, everybody has their name for a medicine name. Their Swiss Walker, Ether Wind. I used to have Riff Walker.
A Riff Walker?
Yeah. I've had multiple different terminologies for many things, especially throughout the time. It's like new words will come up and they'll kind of fit in there a little bit better than older ones.
Yeah, I took in a lot of words. I had my words I'll be making up for times and I'll be forgetting them. And then there's other ones I took from a lot of animes I watch for how they describe the name of the spirits around them.
Anime is good for terminology.
The yokai, the shinigami.
But you know, a lot of when they go on like those are actually talking about real Shinto spirits. That's why a lot of those things that people will actually encounter in their other experiences as well, because they're not even just trying to pull those out of an imagination layer of their own and give them layers that may just be individually tuned. But
Just
these things
repeating the reality.
cultures, yeah.
I remember first learning about the Shinto religion, and I was looking into all the religions and stuff. I was like, oh, they believe everything is alive, everything has a spirit. That's cool. Feels like that.
Yeah, very similar to Hindu. Hinduism has everything has a spirit too. They don't do as many individual external deity like spirits like they do. I don't believe in Hinduism, or maybe they do. I just haven't really read up on them. Unless it's like the Ashura and then can take different forms as well. But Shinto is like they're divine and their spirits all look weird. They can be extremely strange. Like little children's heads walking around with like holding fishing rods. Like, what's that about? Like, oh, and it has like a whole meaning in their culture as well.
I was thinking
Like
about Toy Story for some reason. How Sid was mismatching his toys.
Yeah, basically they're like Sid. But you know, like a kappa is like this creature. It's like he looks like a turtle, frog, man type thing, and with a beak, and they eat cucumbers, I believe. But they'll steal children or women. But they have this bowl of water on their head or something like that. If you spill the bowl of water, they die.
It sounds familiar.
They'll leave you alone.
That sounds familiar. It's part of Japanese lore.
Yeah. The kappa. Actually, I think that's also what is. What was that game? One of those Miyamoto games had kappas. But, the Koopa Troopers are kappas. In a way, the turtles.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. Super. I was trying to type it in. Mario.
Japanese people seem to have been tripping good on something. They just don't want to ever tell you that they were.
That's what I was saying. Like
They're
what?
like got this samurai thing where they don't want to tell nobody.
They got the
It's
good
like,
stuff.
It's like being really hood and you don't want to tell nobody what your stash is. Like, yeah.
I wonder how you get to work for Nintendo. Like, did you experience this?
Yeah, they got a whole Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is?
And now are you ready to take this?
Have you ever seen this? Have you ever taken any of these substances? Okay, now take this. We want to see. Yeah. They leave you in that like a room that's kind of like a Zelda puzzle.
Like, this is real life. This is what you're gonna be recreating in our next game. Nintendo God told us. But hey, this was a nice chat. I gotta go respond to these messages. Yeah, thank you for coming through.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, have a good one, bro.
You too.
And everyone else out there that was in the chat, Stu, Master Creator.
Peace, everybody. Y'all have a good one.
Hey.
Y'all tie it on down.
I'm at that freestyle. I'm at that freestyle already. We're gonna run that freestyle next show. All right.
We gotta get Theo in here too, because Theo will break the freestyle.
All right. Yeah. Let's do the back and forth.
All right. Maybe we can actually go into his chat since your chat won't link. Maybe if we go into his chat run.
All right. Yeah, I'll do the link up.
Yeah, and just like close down his We'll block. You'll have to mute off Fred because Fred likes to be in there all the time.
Gotcha. Peace.
Till next time.
Hey everyone on YouTube. Peace out. This was the PSy Tai Podcast. PSy Tai. Just tainow. Combine your mind with your heart. See your gut mind saying whatever those circles you combine in. Probably just 3. Let it combine them all. Let whatever come out. Come on out.